Yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Marvelous Chats. This week on the podcast we have a very special guest. We're joined this week by The Flood. We got Hofmvn and we got Zaberwolf. And myself, Finto 182. So guys, please give a warm welcome to The Flood. I'll let him introduce himself. I'm bringing the boys in. Here we go.
We'll put up the beer bags.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Yo, what's up, boys?
How are you doing today?
Doing good. Just an absolute welcome back, a massive welcome back to The Flood.
Thank you for having
this dude
me.
right
I appreciate
here.
you.
Yeah. Welcome back, dude. We're glad to have you. It's going to be a good week. A good bit of news to go over. We got Boba Fett. I don't know. Do you watch Peacemaker, Flood? We might have to talk about that.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'll stay out of that one. But I'm excited to. Excited to watch that. I just haven't gotten there yet.
It's actually
partly because I haven't seen Suicide Squad yet. Still.
Okay, well, yeah, I'd watch Suicide Squad first, but
exactly.
yeah. Like, you know, it's going to be pretty heavily focused on Boba Fett this week. We've kind of said to ourselves that we were going to kind of start the podcast with a bit of like Marvel news from the week, since we're like a Marvel podcast. So I don't know if you guys have any news that you want to bring up to kind of kickstart the podcast from the week. I've got a few topics we can talk about. Alex, go ahead, dude.
I've actually pulled up a ton of stuff from.
Nice. He's prepared. Guys.
Yeah, there's a Twitter handle called Marvel Updates that I just wanted to run by, and I found quite a few things. Like they have a new poster for Morbius.
I saw it, yeah.
And
it's cool.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it, yeah. Bring it up on screen if you want for people to see, but I saw it myself, yeah.
It looks pretty good.
It does. I'm actually really excited about that movie. I know we don't really have high hopes for Sony stuff at the moment, like in live action anyway, but I think they've maybe turned a new corner, and now they've got the help of Kevin Feige going forward and stuff. So, you know, I've got high hopes moving forward. You know, stuff in the past, no, but the future looks bright. Yeah, this looks cool, bro. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a decent looking poster. I just, again, it's Jared Leto, who his last time in a superhero movie as the Joker doesn't get me, that excited. Nothing from Sony. I always think about the Venom movies. Terrible.
Yeah. Oh god, so bad.
Going in expecting a 5. So if they hit a 6 on this movie, it's going to outseed my expectations, and we're going to be good.
Leto's last superhero movie, he was a clothes designer, right?
Yeah.
Counter to Lady Gaga.
Flood, what's your opinion on the Venom movies? Yay or nay?
Again, this is hilarious because I grew up loving Venom. That's all I would draw as a kid. I haven't watched the second one still because I really didn't like the first one.
Yeah, I think
just really didn't like it. So like, I will get around to it someday. I will click it on like a streaming service, but I care so little.
Yeah, and you're in great company too, because we all feel the exact same way.
I hate to say it, but I've gotten to the point where I feel like I'm pretty good at predicting whether it's going to be halfway decent, and I could see what they were doing with that one like a mile ahead, and I was like, no, I'm just not going to be interested in this. Like, I'm not going to enjoy this experience.
Yeah,
I think one of the biggest like exclamation points for that was the fact that Venom just sounded way too like cheerful or like kind of dim-witted at times. Like, oh yeah, like really, like. We don't need a Venom to sound like he's just raring for everything.
Yeah,
I sound like Jason Momoa, bro.
Like I love Hardy and I love Venom. I just don't love that incarnation together. It just does not at all work for me. I'll take Topher Grace.
Yeah, dude.
Hell
yeah.
I'll go that far. I'll take him.
Hell yeah, bro.
But at least I like the idea of him being like kind of like wimpy, but like and then turns into this monster, as opposed to Hardy, who was like he's kind of a badass just as he is. Like he doesn't need to be Venom. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't believe you just took a shot at Topher Grace right there for no reason. He's just sitting there in Hollywood having a good day, and he has to hear this.
That's right. I was busy. I was busy saying that he's an incredible actor and he can pull off Venom better than Tom Hardy, who's also an incredible actor. So
you just said he was all weak and puny.
He's a smaller statured human than Tom Hardy. I think that is verifiable fact.
That's a fair.
Tom-
that's fair.
Tom Hardy is a beefy dude. Like he's gonna.
He's a little small.
I-
He's English.
He is small.
All right. The only way to solve
is
this
small.
is a 1v1 in the boxing ring. Topher Grace versus Tom Hardy,
Oh Jesus!
and we'll find out if I'm wrong, Drunky.
He,
I'm
appear-
Hoffman.
he appears to be really big, but he's actually like average height. So I don't know. I'd say if you're oh, he is built, of course. Like he was Bane. Like come on, we know he can do it. We know he can do it.
Yeah, definitely having a stocky Eddie Brock would be like the best bet for it. But like in terms of Venom, though, it's like it was tough. And I agree with Hoffman earlier when he was saying that he just looks a little too slimy, and it could have been a little more web based. But then again, we don't have his connection to Spider-Man yet, so they had to pull something out. They had to figure something.
Yeah, I just think that he's I think that early comic books nailed it. Like he should be a more matte looking color. And then he should have that bluish glow to him that kind of like separates him from the darkness, right? Like I think there's a nail that, and I actually thought he looked really good, honestly, in Spider-Man 3. I think if you like would take Spider-Man 3, graphics or like that designed and bring it into the modern day with all the technology we have now, it really works well. It's like the design of Venom, the way they went for it, just it's horrible, bro. Like it is the worst superhero movies I've seen. And if it wasn't for Marvel, like Sony would be killing the superhero genre with stuff like Venom.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if there was no MCU and like Sony came out with something like that, I think it would be a laughing stock. Like really, really bad. God bless Kevin Feige, eh? Whew.
Yeah.
God bless him.
But also, like speaking of different spider-based like heroes, Madam Web, it seems like they're going to try to go in a different direction because in the comics, Madam Web is kind of limited by what she can do because she's like crippled in a sense, and she can't really like maneuver and be like spectacular like the actual Spider-Man. So they might have Dakota Johnson as Madam Web, like as an entirely different source material, and maybe have her like be acrobatic and do stunts so that it's not all like just her sitting in the chair.
Yeah. Maybe it's like an origin story of how she got to the chair or something, maybe.
Yeah, that would be a really good idea because,
That's not bad,
we really don't know too much about Madam Web. I don't think anybody has really read the comics, but yeah, all we know is that she sits in that chair and she's basically part of the spider totems.
Yeah, I remember the comics vaguely from my youth, but like I remember bits and pieces, not a lot of web stuff.
Yeah, my only
I didn't even know we
interaction.
were getting a movie.
My only interaction with her is from the '90s Spider-Man cartoon when they did the Spider-Verse.
Of course.
That's like all I kind of know of her. So yeah, like casting Dakota, what's her name? Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, to casting her, like it is a bit of a weird step, like because she's quite a young actress. I would have expected somebody older, like somebody wiser to kind of just be a kind of god sitting in the chair sort of vibe to it, like So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested.
Do you think that they want to do like a Gwen Stacy, but Marvel already got the contract to Gwen Stacy? Like they already promised Marvel, like you can do Gwen Stacy in your Spider-Man movies, and so they're like, we want to make this.
I heard a rumor.
It's possible.
I heard a rumor this week. Actually, it was one of the ones I was going to bring up. But rumor has it that Sony are interested in doing a live-action Spider-Gwen movie with Emma Stone, and Andrew Garfield would likely reprise his role as Peter. So. Picture
That'd
this.
Be nice.
Picture this. Gwen is from her universe. It's not obviously his Gwen, but Gwen from her universe couldn't save Peter, and Peter couldn't save her. So the two of them had lost each other in their own worlds, and they meet up. Like I think that'd be fucking sweet.
I like that as a way to bring back Garfield Spider-Man. Like that, instead of him giving him another Spider-Man Garfield movie, it just passes to this new Spider-Gwen. I also had exactly the same thought when you guys were talking about. It's like, is this just them trying to do Madam Web? Like they need their own Spider-Gwen? Is that what? I was with you, drunk, 100% off. I was like, that you just said the things that were in my head. Thank you.
Yeah.
Geniuses.
I hear Justin Hammer is going to be making his return for Armor Wars.
Love that.
I do as well.
Interesting.
I thought it's Sam Rockwell's like returning as Hammer. Like I thought it was very funny.
Yeah,
I'm down.
He makes every movie he's in, especially in the Iron Man movies. Like he elevates those movies as like a villain, and not like a true villain, but kind of like a goofball villain, right? Like he's perfect in that role. His dance to me is so iconic when he's dancing on the stage. It's like one of my favorite MCU moments where he's out there busting a groove, bro. Love Sam Rockwell.
Love Rockwell.
He is.
Agreed,
I
100%.
love that, and he's got the fake tan on his hands and all. He's like such a cringy man. I love it.
But he plays that perfectly, and it still can be menacing too. Like he still has the capacity to be like, yeah, I'm a goofball, but like I don't mess with it. Like,
it's
Rockwell's amazing.
He's my favorite part of that movie.
I'm a huge fan,
hands down. And
that would be amazing.
Kind of keeping on the Spider-Man rumor mill. Daniel Rickman, who's like one of the kind of Marvel insiders, is saying that Sony are developing a project, and Alex, you're going to really like this, a Null project, which could potentially bring back all three Spider-Men in a kind of Spider-Verse versus like Null with the symbiotes, like so Venom and Carnage as well. So like
that would be really interesting, but it'd be kind of difficult because we've only had one Spider-Man actually be connected to the Venom symbiote.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, but then I'm curious. Obviously they would need to do Venom 3 first, and I think we're gonna get, like, the rumor is that Tom Holland will appear in Venom 3. I think that was part of the agreement with Marvel and Sony, was that they would get a Spider-Man trilogy, but then they would have to be able to send that Spider-Man back to Sony to appear in his movies too. So the rumor is that Tom has a new trilogy with Marvel, but he's also going to have a 2-movie deal with Sony. Probably a Spider-Verse film over there, and maybe this, or maybe definitely Venom 3, maybe another Spider-Verse movie, or this could be like the Spider-Verse movie that they're talking about then as well. Because that would link in with Venom as well, you know, like they're kind of bringing the two properties together. Like, you know, it's like, if we're going to bring all three Spider-Men back, let's do an all-out like symbiote war and have the 3 Peter Parkers, and they're all in fact like you know, it looks like, because the picture, like the fan art that was put up with this, it's like all 3 of them are in black suits. Like, because I know, did you guys hear that they shot an alternate ending for No Way Home where Toby dies, but then Venom shows up and the symbiote jumps onto him and revives him. And there was there was actually a behind the scenes photo released of Toby's black suit, so they had it there. They shot a scene where Tom Hardy's Venom actually relinks with Toby and revives him, brings him back to life after being stabbed by a goblin.
I heard there was an alternate ending where he died, but I didn't hear the black suit part.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Was there a physical black suit,
Yes.
or was this just drawn on after?
No, there was a
Tobey Maguire put on a black suit.
There was a black suit hanging. There was a photo released of all their suits backstage, hanging on like a clothing rail, and there was 4 suits, and at the very end it was his black suit.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because that adds
really
that adds a lot of credence, as opposed to just it being like a little CGI. That could be a little touch up, you know, mess around with people.
Yeah, no, there was an actual black suit on set.
And like that actually makes sense, because it would actually give meaning on to why they actually brought Venom into the MCU universe for like really no reason now, right? So that would have been better.
That's interesting.
I mean, if they decide to make another Spider-Man movie, or they make a Venom 3, they could use that little bit of symbiote that was left for that movie, so that we don't necessarily have to connect Tom Hardy. We could just have like a full-on Venom, find Spider-Man, latches on, becomes its own, because it like kind of like reproduces itself and becomes its own entity, and then maybe find the Eddie Brock of that universe instead, or just go off and be its own, because I think Venom can be on his own for at least a little bit before having to latch onto someone.
Yeah. I like the idea of like Agent Venom, but I hate the Flash that we have in the MCU. You know, I obviously loved Toby's Flash, Joe Magliano, and then I liked the Flash from Andrew's universe as well. I can't remember the actor's name, but he looked like a bully. He was a big, stocky dude. He'd be someone you'd be afraid of in school, you know? Whereas the Flash that we have in the MCU, Jesus, I'd smash him up with no powers. Like, you know, it's like he's not menacing at all or anything. Like, so it's just a completely twist on the character.
Maybe he'll grow up a bit. Maybe he'll grow up a bit, you know? Like, maybe, you know, maybe he joins the army.
Yeah.
And that's grows him up a little bit. You know, he gets a little tougher, he gets a little more serious,
Bro.
and then
Yeah.
we get the Venom. I'm
I don't know,
I'm with
dude.
you. I'm not a huge fan, but
Bro,
being
like,
optimistic.
the dude drives to school. He's in high school and he's driving to school in a TTRS, like given to him by his daddy. He's not joining the army, bro.
Look, like, what about the guy who played
So
like
weird.
Kingo in the Eternals? You know what I mean? Like, he was a dork. He was kind of weak, and then he like bulked up for the MCU, baby. We get him like
Yeah.
ripped.
I mean, 63 Spider-Man was a draft, right? So that's how Flash went, and like he was drafted. So I mean, I can't imagine them doing a modern day draft storyline. That doesn't make a lot of sense, probably, but
Yeah.
You say giraffe?
draft.
No, draft.
Yeah, he got draft. His neck was so long, it was weird. They fired that artist.
I don't know how symbiotes work. They're magical. I would love them to bring Noel into the whole universe, and like I wish, like I know Sony wants to keep Venom stuff over there, but I wish they would bring Noel over to the MCU because one of my favorite comic book recent runs has been the King in Black, which is like an Avengers level threat. Like that comic book series was fucking fantastic, and you know we were always wondering what kind of villains could be Avenger villains because you want someone who's not as crazy as Thanos, but you know someone who's a little bit stronger than Loki, and Noel's like the perfect character who puts everyone through the ringers. Like Noel would be fantastic for the MCU in an Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I just hope that I hope that Sony just don't do a Venom on it, you know? And
Yeah.
just ruin it.
Yeah.
It used to be called pulling a Fantastic Four.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And
I mean, to be honest, like watching those old Fantastic Four movies, like they're not that bad. Like for its time, they were actually pretty fun.
They get crapped on a lot more than they deserved.
I like them.
Right.
I like
Ish.
them.
Well, I feel like the only reason why the Rise of the Silver Surfer didn't work too well was because they made Galactus a gigantic cloud.
Yeah.
You know, if everything else seemed to fit properly, even Doctor Doom's plot to take over, you know, the Silver Surfer's board and actually like try to take over Galactus's power and whatnot, it seemed to work. But once they showed that Galactus is not like a physical entity, it was just more of like a cloud system.
Yeah.
It just fell apart.
It also predates superhero movies doing what the Kevin Feige situation where they're actually like you can actually like build up through multiple movies an actual backstory and storyline where like you're just throwing Silver Surfer at us. Like we need some time. That would be my problem with Null actually. The movie you guys were describing, I'm like that whole concept is great except that we have this Venom that we have now and we have like there's not enough build up for symbiote stuff and I don't think we can just jump into that. I need like 3-4 movies worth of lead up to that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
it's much-
think we're like 2 or 3 movies behind now anyway, you know, like that wouldn't be happening anytime soon. Even if it was real. If that project is real, you've got at least Venom 3, Amazing Spider-Man 3, and maybe like, you know, another Toby and then another Tom movie as well. Like I'd say you have like 4 or 5 Spider-Man projects before you even jump into that.
Because you got to build
hopefully-
these things up a little more.
Yeah, and hopefully they do because they've already got Toxin coming around because of the. I'm sorry for the spoilers, Flood, but like
It's go nuts. I don't care.
so in the movie eventually you see that the guy Cullen McCullen or something like that he obtains a part of the symbiote in his body, and that's the main character in the comics that was Toxin. So we have, you know, Venom, Carnage, and Toxin. And so we need other types of symbiotes, like we need Poison, we need, you know, we already got rid of Riot, but maybe we can add some more. And as we get like the family going on, eventually we see that there's a parent of the parents, which would be Null. And then that's how you introduce Null. Otherwise, like this would be a very convoluted story. Just tossing him in, just like you said, a Flood would be terrible.
Yeah. It rushes it too much. Like you need to that's the kind of thing that needs build up, like they had with the Thanos. Like there's a build up to that.
Yeah.
Getting the Avengers, getting Thanos. Like you need to build up to those levels of threats. You can't just be like, oh yeah, super god evil thing, great. Like otherwise you don't feel the stakes. You don't feel attached. The enemy doesn't, because the villain has to be as much of a character to make the movie good. Like the villain has to be one of the best characters in the movie to make the movie good. And so you can't just be Galactus Cloud.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was that because you're 100% on point. Like that's not a good villain, so it completely kind of declaws the movie, makes it uninteresting. So I want no build up.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. Like
He-
they should do him like Thanos, like the way the MCU did Thanos. You know, get a whiff of him early on, and maybe an after credit scene of him. Then maybe after Venom 3, and then you maybe get him popping in during the next Spider-Man movie or something like that. He shows his face, like, and then boom, you just go Infinity War with it. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Did you hear about Daredevil and all the Netflix shows? They're
Yeah.
gone at the end of
the
February.
Defenders.
Yeah, dude. Are they going somewhere else, or are they disappearing off the face of the earth?
I think they're going to Marvel, aren't they?
I
Yeah, I
Like,
think
where are the shows?
Or Disney or whatever. I mean,
Are the
no.
I don't know if they'll go to Disney because they're like Netflix properties, right? Like
No. Netflix did they owned them as Netflix original, so they created them and like paid for it to have it or whatever. But because it's a Marvel property, I'm sure it's a rights issue. Like Netflix
Yeah.
had it for X number of years,
Yeah.
and now that's expired. So Disney will bring it back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so.
Almost guaranteed.
Or
like almost guaranteed.
Star anyway.
Well-
Because like the way they do
Well,
it,
Yeah.
Disney don't have like Spider-Man. They can't put Spider-Man up on their app, and they can't put the likes of like Deadpool and stuff up on it. But whereas Deadpool for us is on Star, so it's on my Disney app, but it's technically not part of Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's much like the X-Men movies. The X-Men movies are on Disney Plus now. So eventually, I think that the Defenders and all of their separate, shows are going to show up on Disney Plus.
Well, that was because of Fox though too, right? Because Disney
Yeah.
bought Fox, so
Disney
they got
bought Fox, yeah.
X-Men back.
Yeah,
So
I'm
there
just
definitely hasn't been
curious
an
how it's gonna
announcement,
work.
but like, where else would they put it? You know what I mean? Like, where else would unless someone's like willing to shell out a ton of money, where else is that going to go?
Would
Yeah,
Hu-
Disney
would
was
Hulu
definitely the
take
rights
it?
holder. Yeah.
Would Hulu take it?
Well, it's Disney.
They
It's all
could put
the
it on
same.
Hulu.
Is
yeah.
Hulu owned by Disney as well? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. When we have Star Finto,
Star's
like I have the
basically-
same thing in Canada. No,
Yeah.
that is Hulu, but
Yeah.
like
Just
because
renamed.
we don't get Hulu in Canada. Yeah, same
Yeah.
deal.
Easy.
If
Yeah,
only
so-
we were sponsored by NordVPN right now. Perfect segue.
Maybe someday, guys. Maybe someday.
Marvelous NordVPN.
Yeah.
It's marvelous.
Use code Marvelous for 10% off on your checkout. I just wanted to move on to a tiny bit of DC news as well. Did you guys see that there was a small little 1 minute kind of trailer for the movies of this year? Did you guys watch
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I loved it actually.
Yeah, it actually kind of hyped me up a little bit. It looks great. I don't know if
Go
you.
watch it right now.
No, here, throw it up on the screen there, Alex, if you don't mind. We'll all watch it together.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no,
I'm so-
it looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they put they got 4 movies coming out this year. They got Aquaman coming out, The Flash, Black Adam, and Batman coming out. And so it's just like shows off a little bit of new footage from Aquaman and Black Adam. And like, dude, it is lovely, man. Like,
Hyped
Yeah.
for Black Adam.
yeah,
Black Adam's
Hype.
gonna be, it's gonna be
Definite
great.
hype.
Hyped for Batman. The rest I don't
Yes.
know if I know.
Dude, wait
Like,
till you see this footage flood from the Black Adam movie. It looks
I'm
great.
hyped for Black Adam.
It looks great, dude. Oh my god, it
That
looks great.
casting and what they're trying to do there, that works for me. That
Yeah.
has all the potential in the world.
Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate as well. Oh my god,
Fate is so
dude,
good.
he looks so good as well. Wait till you see this.
We ready to go?
Wait, I gotta
Give
I gotta
us
unmute this
give us
stream.
100% volume. You should be able to hear it here in Discord. We're gonna play this in Discord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to hear it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
of
we're
course.
in. We're in, Ezra. We're in.
Okay. Okay. Contrary to everything you just said, all I saw was those big that thumping sound when they show up the thing. I'm like disappointment, disappointment, disappointment. That's all I could feel. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what to
Meh.
tell you. You're like, this is gonna
Okay.
be a big year for DC. I'm like, is it though? Like I don't
It
get
will,
You
it.
think
bro.
Batman's gonna be a disappointment?
No,
Play-
actually,
play it again. There, play it again.
no.
Alright.
No,
It's
without
very-
sound. Play it again without sound. We can talk over
Okay.
it. But Batman is going to be incredible. I'm sorry. Like, it looks amazing. It's going
Those
to be.
shots in Batman, that looks gorgeous, man. Like
Yeah.
the soft lighting out of them and stuff. Like that's nothing I've seen in cinema before. It's like that orangish hue over stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it's got such a unique look.
If they even make Flashpoint half as good as the comic book, they're onto a winner. Even if they fuck it up 50%, they're still onto a winner. Aquaman, I honestly don't give a shit about. I'm sorry. I can't. But the other 3
Momoa
movies,
looked-
the other 3 movies, and I'm very interested for Blue Beetle as well. I think he's a very interesting character. I love that shot of Barry. Oh my god, it's amazing.
I think
Movie
Black
Go
Adam
is
is going to be
interesting.
the biggest hit, though. Like,
Yeah, well, of course, it's The
definitely going
Rock.
to be one of the largest.
It's The Rock. He
The
literally,
Rock pulls.
yeah, he pulls for anything like
Yeah.
that. Even like that Baywatch movie that he did, which was awful. That just had
course.
so much hype around it because it's The
Plus
Rock.
the introduction of some of those other characters that look like that Hawkman shot looks awesome. Like I'm hyped for that. And who cares about Hawkman until they see that shot? Now you're like, oh shit, give me some Hawkman.
Yeah,
Where
that
is
last.
Hawkman?
I'm talking about
Back
average people.
one more second. Back one more second.
You
There's
think Black
the-
Adam's going to be bigger than the Batman?
Fade. There he is.
And
No.
I don't. I think the Batman will be the biggest thing, but I think Black
Okay.
Adam will be the one that might be. It could potentially be a better movie. It looks like a really good movie.
You think Black Adam's going to be a better movie than the Batman?
No.
I think it could be. It could be.
You're off your rocker, man.
No,
Okay,
I think it could be.
I'm with the Hoff on this.
No,
No, I-
well, you gotta understand. Like, as much as I understand that Batman is going to be a large movie, I think that although The Rock Johnson is going to be a big part of it to bring in the cast or the audience, it's the fact that he's so enamored, he's so like interested in the role, and he's so excited to play that role that
Yes.
he's going to own it. And because he's going to own it, it's going to look amazing on screen. And I think it's going to be either on par or right below Batman. I don't know if it's going to ever hit Batman, but it's going to be like almost there.
I think it's going to be very good.
So I think a lot of what you just said is correct. I think Black Adam, I have the most hope for it to be a Marvel caliber superhero awesome movie, whereas Batman, depending on what DC does with it, I'm kind of hoping is a better movie that's not necessarily a superhero movie, because that's where Batman can shine. There can be like really great narrative, really dark shots, really something that's not Marvel. And that's what I'm hoping Batman is, and it'll to be something like special, like art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Black Adam, I'm expecting Marvel level
Blockbuster.
spectacle done correctly, hopefully.
Yes.
Because DC
Yes.
hasn't done Marvel level spectacle correctly
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And-
until hopefully this.
You know, I look at the Batman and I see like a murderer's row of actors and actresses, like people who are just phenomenal, like Robert Pattinson, the guy who's playing the Penguin. I can't think of his name right now.
Colin Farrell.
The cat was, yeah, like everyone is just like huge actors in that one. They have performances that I can go back and watch over and over. And then Black Adam has The Rock, who is the most charismatic. He's the most charismatic, uncomfortable person to watch on screen I've ever seen. Like, I love watching him, but like he's awkward on screen. Like he's not. You don't believe him in his roles. I've never once forgot that it was The Rock, and I know there's actors that are out there who that happens to, but it's like it's him happens. It happens to him more so than anyone else because he's so unique looking. He's like fucking 6'8", like 400 pounds of just like twisted like Hawaiian steel or Samoan steel. I don't know, bro. Like he's huge.
I think he's becoming a much better actor as time is going on. Like,
He's improving for sure.
yeah, I do. I really think he is, and I think he's so passionate about this project that I think it's kind of going to be like Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool. It's going to, it's going to be on that level where it's a passion project, so there's going to be so much gone into it. Where I think it's going to really pay off. Like he's been trying to make this movie since like 2006 or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, he's been after this one for a long time.
Yeah, a
and
long time.
I love it in theory. It's just whether like Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool worked out great, but also the whole team, everything around it, the story, the writing, they were off the Marvel script. Will this get off of the DC script where they're trying to be something that they're not and failing miserably? Like I just want them to hit spectacle level fun with Black Adam, where it's fun and intense and has great action, and I laugh a few times and I get invested in the fights. That's what I'm looking for. If that happens, it's a winner. That's all I need. I do think The Rock could do it. I'm in. As much as Hoffman is correct, The Rock suffers from being The Rock.
Right.
Sometimes, like he suffers from his own success almost, where he's just too much of The Rock that it's hard to get away from that. But Black Adam fits him so perfectly that I think it can work. Like
Sure.
I don't want to be disappointed again. DC,
Right.
don't do it. Disappoints
I totally
continuously.
Alex, go to the last shot of the trailer there. It's,
Last shot?
Yeah, the last like frame of the trailer is there's that one there. So it's kind of hard to see.
Let me turn
but
off the.
There's two Barry Allens, and the girl hiding behind
like one in
Robert
the-
Pattinson is Supergirl.
I can't take off annotations.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I haven't watched a lot of the DC universe television shows. And I know that they have a strong fan base. The Flash stuff is really exciting for people. People are loving it. Is that one of them, or are one of them in that? And does that relate? Does it matter?
The TV Flash, his name's Grant Gustin. He will appear in the movie in a very small cameo. Ezra Miller actually appeared on the TV show as himself. And what I found to be really cool about that was he didn't refer to himself as the Flash until he met the TV version. And the TV version went, "Oh, you're the Flash too." And he went, "What? The what?" And then it's like the light bulb goes off and he then names himself the Flash. I thought that was really cool. You know, an alternate version of himself helped him name himself, you know. I thought that was really cool.
Does anyone actually like Ezra Miller as the Flash, though?
Yeah.
So far, no.
I think more people were upset that your man Grant didn't get the role because everyone loved him. Like, the first 3 seasons of that TV show are incredible. Like, incredible. It went off the rails, as all CW stuff does. As they get older, they, you know, all the good writers and directors fuck off onto the next show, and you know the show's left to suffer. I heard it just got renewed for season 9. I'm like, Jesus Christ, awful.
But that OG Smallville, you know.
Oh my God, Smallville was great.
So good.
So good, dude.
That was
like every time.
so good. That's like DC TV for me. I since then I haven't really paid attention to it, but I loved Smallville so much. They're Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I love. He has a podcast. I listen to his podcast every week.
Does he?
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Rosenbaum, he's phenomenal. He's a great podcast.
Rosenbaum saved me so much when I was I was the movie rental guy. Be kind, please rewind. I literally had rewind machines throwing VHS tapes in there back in the day.
Yeah,
but everyone was always like, "What's a good movie?" And my default answer was always Pool Hall Junkies with him.
Yes!
And champion movie. Everyone liked it. I would never disappoint a single customer. If they hadn't seen Pool Hall Junkies, go watch Pool Hall Junkies. You won't be disappointed. It's not like the best movie ever. But anyone who walked into my store, if I recommended that, they liked it.
If Rosenbaum's in it, I'm in.
Rosenbaum's a champion, dude. Pool Hall Junkies was a winner every time.
Dude, that's such an elder millennial movie, dude. Like,
for sure.
I've never even heard of it.
The fact that we're the two that know it here, they haven't heard of it.
That I'm old.
Hey, I'm not young either.
You got me sold. I'll watch it tonight.
Rosenbaum's my boy.
Yeah, I love Rosenbaum so much.
Oh, you'll like it. You can't not like Pool Hall Junkies. Like, it's not like the best movie ever, but it's just like a solid flick.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy it.
Sweet.
It's just very enjoyable.
Cool. I'm done.
Also, Count of Monte Cristo also worked, but still.
So, with the other characters that we saw, I can't remember the name. I know we had Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate
in there, which is going to be awesome.
My boy Pierce. A lot of Irish actors coming into the superheroes genre in the last 2 years. It's pretty interesting.
And then I think we also had this guy. I don't know this name character. The Atom?
I think it's the Atom. Yeah, look at his crest. Atom has the power to either shrink down really small or go really big. So he's just like Ant-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it makes more sense.
It does make more sense because he's actually a scientist himself. He's not like a thief who just robs a suit.
Yeah.
Well, he was also Scott Lang is a very smart person, man. Don't turn him down. He's an engineer.
Yet to be seen in the MCU, I suppose.
Oh, you've seen him. Like, he literally breaks into things.
I know.
And he also works on computer. Like, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, man.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
Look, there's a pretty far jump between being an engineer and being able to manipulate the atoms of the universe to make something bigger or smaller.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a leap there.
That's where Hank came from. That's Hank gave him all the information.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for Black Adam, but I also think that it could very easily be like an Aquaman situation where like everything looks really good, and then you get into the movie theater and you're like, what the fuck are we watching? Like,
I can agree with that.
DC makes awesome ads for themselves, but then all you're watching is the next ad for themselves again. So it's not actually a good movie. You watched a great ad for their movie, then you go to the movie and it's just an ad for their next movie. Like it.
No.
I will never. I get
so frustrated with them.
I will never forget how bad the first Suicide Squad movie was and how hyped I was after seeing the first trailer for that movie. Blew me away. I was like, oh my god, this movie looks incredible. Like, cannot wait for this film. It looked amazing. And then I saw the movie and I was like, that was the biggest load of shit ever.
But that's why I'm so like this little hype trailer thing is very cool.
Yeah.
I want to be very excited.
Oh yeah.
But I can't be.
Yeah.
Because it's DC. I can't.
It's misleading, yeah.
Disappointments continuously.
Yeah.
So-
You're right. You're right.
Blue Beetle, is that coming out next year then, I guess? 2023? I thought it was coming out this year.
I think it is. I think it's towards the end of this year. As far as I know, it's a series though, right? It's not a movie.
Oh, it's gonna be a series. I thought it was gonna be a movie.
I think it's a series. I'm pretty sure it's a series.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because that would be very interesting to see as a movie because he would be like the first DC character who's not really known and not doesn't have the Rock driving it as a movie, right? Like Black Adam isn't really known, but you got the Rock, like he's the biggest hype man in the world. So, but
and you've already
like,
had a Shazam movie.
Yeah,
Right.
true. True.
Well, and Hoffman, I wanted to trail off what you said about the Rock thing. Like you see the Rock on all your characters, but I agree. I really do because whenever you see Peacemaker, all I see is John Cena, and although the show is great,
Yeah,
I still kind of just see John Cena. You
But
just
I
can't
would
take the
argue
wrestler.
that John Cena is a way better actor than The Rock. Like his scenes in Peacemaker are like light years beyond anything that The Rock has done. Like
true.
he gets like when he's breaking down in Peacemaker, I'm there with him, bro. Like I am there emotionally with him as a character, and that might be James Gunn, that might be John Cena. It could be a mix of both, but like he just has way better performances than The Rock, who's like, we're gonna up in the hierarchy of the DC universe. I'm just like, okay, bud, we know.
Just to go back to Blue Beetle for a second, I just checked it. It is a movie and it's out next year.
Okay,
Awesome.
And it's starring.
Interesting.
I don't know if you've seen Cobra Kai. It's starring one of the main characters from Cobra Kai.
Oh, which one?
Do you know your man? What's his name in the show? Oh my god, I can't think. Hang on.
Love me some Cobra Kai.
I love
Cobra Kai
as
never
well.
die.
Miguel Diaz, the main.
Oh yeah, legit. Yeah.
He's
Okay.
he's playing the main character in Blue Beetle, Jamie Reyes.
Okay. Like, don't get me wrong, he's great in Cobra Kai, but I don't know if he can carry a movie. I hope so.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to disrespect him or anything, but I just don't know where he stands as an actor to carry a movie as a lead all the way. Like on the show, he's fine. He's perfect. It's Cobra Kai. It's kind of cheesy to begin with. That's what it's kind of its appeal.
It's extremely cheesy.
But like running a movie as a lead, I hope he can do it. I want to believe. Let's go. Let's go, Miguel.
I always kind of say this.
Cobra Kai never die.
Yes, I always kind of say this. When these actors are doing like their auditions and stuff, like they meet so many people, and he obviously did something incredible during his audition to make them believe that, like, yes, this is the guy. So yeah, he must have, like, they've seen something in him that I hope they'll be able to translate onto the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just think that he's got Cobra Kai cred and they can parlay that into more viewership.
I don't know, dude. Like,
Warner Brothers would never.
I'm not trying. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. Well, pretty good. It's gotten how many seasons now? We're at like the third season of Cobra Kai. It does pretty good. It's clearly like if Netflix didn't cancel it after 2, then it's doing great.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like
the fourth season for Netflix is like 9 seasons on the CW.
I think Cobra Kai is bigger than you're giving it credit for.
No, I like it. I do like it.
But,
I'm just wondering, has it got worldwide popularity? Is what I'm asking. Like, I don't really know too many people that watch Cobra Kai in Ireland. Like, I think. I feel like I'm the only one watching it. Like,
but how many people are there in Ireland total? So
wow, 50.
Sorry,
I think there's like 6 million.
Spitballing.
Okay, fair enough.
We have 6 million.
Have you done an extensive survey?
I was just teasing you, Finto. I love my Irish brothers.
I like that Warner Brothers and DC's taking a risk though. Like Blue Beetle is a really small known hero. This actor is really small known. That could be a recipe for success where it's like you have a lot of freedom to actually make a story that works and like can be interesting because you don't have a lot of expectations, right? You don't have to like, the Batman. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to have the Joker or the Penguin. Like we know how this works. So Blue Beetle could totally be something cool.
I'm totally down. And again, I'm totally down with, well, I'm going to call him Miguel, but yeah, I'm 100% down. Like I'm in, I'm just offering off counterpoints, but I'm definitely interested. I'd be curious because I think you're right. That has a lot of potential to be something off the wall and different, which I like.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, let's talk about Boba Fett. The reason why we've gathered here today.
Boba Fett. Who knew? They were singing Boba Fett.
Let's have a quick chat about the finale, and then maybe we'll kind of do a quick summary of the season as an entirety. Obviously, Flood, I haven't heard from you at all, so I'm very
I was going to
interested.
say, are we going full on spoilers?
Oh yeah,
right
yeah.
off the
yeah.
hop, like
Yeah,
right
yeah.
off. We're just jumping.
Dude,
Okay.
it came out 2 days ago. You know, if
Beautiful.
you haven't seen it by now, it's your own fault.
I just want to
Okay.
make sure everyone who might or may not be listening knows that we're about to jump head first into spoiling it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Here,
It's
I'll do this real quick. Hang on,
I just wanted
We're
everyone to
going
know.
deep
There
in
we
the
go.
back to tank of spoilers.
guys.
I
There's
didn't
a
wanna-
big, massive spoiler alert on the screen here. So if anybody hasn't seen the show, mute the tab, please.
Spoiler alert! It's fantastic. You're gonna.
I am a mere guest. Didn't want to step on any toes.
No, it's fine. Look,
All right.
we were talking about Spider-Man the day after it came out. You know, I have no problem talking about spoilers
Oh,
on
yeah.
this channel. No problem. Yeah, Flood, tell us, what did you think? Finale? Did you like it? Did you, yay or nay?
So the finale was a lot of fun. The finale is actually probably the best part of the whole show. It was very enjoyable, even if it did just... Okay, oh my god, it's not even good. It's not even good, but it was the best episode. It was still fun. It was... But there, oh god, it felt like it copied so many things. They tried to have a King Kong moment. They tried to have the like, oh no, we're all the good guys are gonna die, but oh, we turned it around moment. They tried to do all these things that like they didn't really earn throughout the rest of the series because they didn't earn anything in this series because they just scatter shot through things at us, and we're like, oh, now you've got a gang that's on your side, and they're totally loyal for no reason. That's cool. And now you got this, and oh, you got a cool little moment, so now you're totally loyal for no reason. I really am motivated to take over this area of the thing. Why? I don't know, because I was hanging out with some sand people or some shit. Like, the whole show made no flipping sense. It drove me crazy because it was written so scattershot. I hated it. The best episode was the Fix My Car episode from another series completely, which the Fix Your Car episode is a filler episode, and that was the best episode of this series. Like, it didn't make any goddamn sense when they finally did that. All they're doing is self-referential Star Wars shit to, like, jerk off the fans. Like, it was so silly to me. This whole series drove me crazy, and I wanted to like it. The first 2 episodes, I'm like, this is a little slow, but I could get into this. But then it became a completely different show in the 3rd episode.
Oh,
And
God,
all
the
they try to
third
do is
episode.
like clever little joke writing, which Hoffman and I were discussing this earlier, like how proud the writer was that he's like, but it's like 50s mod and they're modified. We'll call them mods. And like how proud the writer's room was, like, you're a genius. You're so smart.
Give that
You're
man a
doing the
bonus.
best work. You're going to go up for awards. You're getting an Emmy. Like, but like that's the level of clever. Like, and I like Favreau a lot, and I really like The Mandalorian, and I like a lot of stuff that they try to do. But Boba just it was the DVD extras for The Mandalorian. Like, it was filler information kind of sometimes for other shows and movies. I really wish I'd actually gotten to see Boba evolve more as a character. And I know some people are saying he does in the last episode, but like, kinda, I guess.
Barely.
It was really, the whole show as a whole was disappointing. At the same time, like, you can watch it. It's fine. It's more Star Wars content if that's what you want. It's acceptable, I suppose, but it's not good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
See,
How you feel?
that
like
was excellent,
8 out of
bro.
10?
That was excellent. Yeah, give us that out of 10 score.
That has been pent up like for so long inside of him.
Yeah, you've heard. You're the only one who knows. Like, I've told you a few times, Hoffman, a few of those comments, but it's yeah. Out of 10, I hate doing that. 5. It's 5. It is, which by the way, if I saw a 5 on like an IMDb, I wouldn't watch it.
Yeah,
But that's where it lands. Like,
that's the scary thing, isn't it? You know, that's where it's sitting. Like, you know, it's at the point where if you were to see it reviewed and finished and seeing it scoring, like, I think it's scoring like a 7.7 on IMDb or something like that, which is,
Shut the fuck up.
I swear to God.
good.
Yeah, that's the series as a whole. If you go down and break down each episode, 5 and 6 are like 9.5 and 9.6. Like, they're almost
Exactly.
perfect episodes.
I was just gonna say anything that has Grogu in it, everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's exactly
they're
what
getting
happened.
the rocks off way too easily for Grogu. It's
To
ridiculous.
be honest, like my favorite parts of episode 5 obviously had nothing to do with Grogu. But my favorite parts of episode 6 were the parts with like Luke and Ahsoka and stuff. It wasn't Grogu. I don't really care about Grogu. I'm not falling for the whole Grogu thing. Like at the last scene that we see in the show, him banging the glass to go fast and all, it's funny. But, you know, I'm not like, oh my god, this is amazing. Thank you so much for doing this, guys. You know, this is what we want. Like, it's like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's kind of comedy or whatever.
It's a cute gag.
I don't fall for the cuteness, though. You know, I don't care. Cute sells, but
I mean,
not
I
to me.
was when I said the Grogu thing, like I was using that as an encompassing thing. It's like it's just not about any of the Boba Fett stuff. It's Grogu, Mandalorian, Luke. It's all of that stuff that people are falling for hard because all of that stuff is really good in Mando. It's really fun to watch, and they're really enjoyable characters because Mando actually has all the mystique that Boba Fett is supposed to have. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, the Grogu stuff is really weird because, like, Grogu to me is somebody who we need to learn his backstory more. We need to learn how good he is, who he comes from, why he's so special, like how he made it out of the temple, and they can't tell you all that in the Book of Boba Fett. So when he's using the Book of Boba Fett, like I really just don't care. Like it's like, okay, like it's fun to see Grogu, but is he really making that good of a, or is he really driving the story of the series forward? And he just wasn't. And if anything, he, you know, him being in this and them having him go back to the Mandalorian almost takes away from the Mandalorian season 2 ending, where he leaves the Mando to go train, right? Like,
how long? So I saw someone bring up this point. How long? What's the gap between Mando 2 and this? Like, what do you think? Like, is it days, weeks, months, a year?
It's gotta be weeks, bro.
It's definitely got to be weeks to maybe months.
Like, do you think that they should have maybe spread out, like, Grogu's training? He should have been with Luke for longer. Like, it's as if he's like, he went there for 2 weeks and it's like, oh yeah, I don't like this life, I'm gonna leave. It's like, you didn't really give it a chance, bro. You know.
I feel that like his story, his and Mando's story ran its course. Yeah. Like Mando and him had a great arc. He finds him, he gets him to the safe place with Luke, and then like he's off, and then he can come back later. But they've done it so fast that it's unsatisfying to me now.
So Mando season 2 ended, and they guaranteed they had a focus group. Was like, what do you mean there's no more Grogu? And they used this to retcon it. That's probably what happened, right?
Yeah, but
I did like the parallel of Grogu leaving like Luke did. Sorry, I apologize, because that's what Luke did initially with Yoda, right? He left when he wasn't supposed to. So I liked that parallel. That was kind of cute to me, that as like a little nostalgia thing, but it was because it was subtle. But I also think it's kind of a retcon because of a focus group. It just feels like it.
That's the problem. That's definitely the problem, because Filoni, much like J.J. Abrams, was like, check out all this nostalgic shit. And it's like, we don't need any of that. We need new things. We need like things that progress the story rather than call back on so many things that we already seen. And the reason why the whole Grogu situation didn't pan out properly was because he had already learned all this stuff, and I don't think they really wanted to show that he was struggling to like relearn. He was like having mental blocks in his mind, and so when he chose to be part of the Mandalorian again, it is a cop out, but I can see how like it works towards, you know, the I forgot what episode 7 was called, but basically Ben is the true like first student of the Jedi Academy with Luke, so it doesn't make sense to have Grogu there. So like that's their way of explaining that, but even then it's so convoluted, it's so weird, and it didn't need to be there.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of, like, you know, them just having Luke there for Luke's sake, right? You know, having Ahsoka come back into this episode was like one of the most useless cameos, and it's just fan service for the sake of fan service. Because when Ahsoka shows up in The Mandalorian, she actually has a huge purpose in that episode, and has a huge story in that episode where she's like dealing with the main problem. Here, she just shows up because Mando can't talk to Luke. Like that is why she is there. She is to service that little point of the story that really has no focus. And you know, her and Luke meeting each other and talking to each other, that should be a bigger moment for us as viewers, and that we should have spent way more time with those two together than we actually got inside of that episode, because that was just, it was unsatisfying, except for the fact that like I feel like they slept together now. I'm full on, I'm on the board. Because how many times have you heard a guy talk to a girl and be like, when will I see you again? We've all said it, okay? So Luke's just
yeah, look, I think that would be fantastic, but I don't think that's what's going on.
Okay.
I kind of want to tag on with like Flood and the writing board, and they're like, look, So this is a way for us to show that Luke's face is better, right? Like, because we fixed it. We fixed it. So we're just gonna have them like sit there and show us.
We hired the guy that did the YouTube thing. We hired him, guys. Look,
we got him.
Shamook is ours. We own Shamook.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
I think
That's a
that,
good
but
point.
you know, and I think it's right in what you're saying. It doesn't really help the story, but from a business point of view, you know, you got to keep this going. Like, if you think about because what I think they're trying to do, right? I really think that Star Wars are trying to adapt their own MCU, their own like. Everyone is calling it the Filoniverse, but I think that is genuinely what they're trying to do. So the fact that you've got Ahsoka showing up here, it's just because she has her own show coming up, and it's like the way they bring Captain America into Thor 2, like, you know what I mean? It's the same sort of deal. It's all one big storyline, and I think what's actually going to happen is it's going to lead to like an Heir of the Empire storyline where maybe all of these shows, so like Ahsoka's show, Boba, Mando, Luke will get his own show, guaranteed. And what's going to happen is all of that is going to come to one big endgame style fucking fight against Thrawn and the new Empire just before they become the First Order. I think that's where it's all going. And I think they need to keep bringing all these characters into each show. So like Ahsoka's show will have loads of Luke in it. I wouldn't be surprised if Boba showed up there as well. Like, you know, and then Mando shows up, and they're all just kind of appearing in each other's shows just to make it one cinematic universe. Like, you know, that's what they're trying to do.
That's lovely, and that might be correct, but Star Wars already has a sprawling universe, and it already exists, right? Like, and this is where the next thing I wanted to bring up about this one, and related to that exactly, is what about all my Clone Wars fans? We got 2 episodes of Cad Bane being flippin' awesome, but if you don't know Cad Bane, you had to watch Clone Wars cartoons, and that would I would kill if you're gonna make a cinematic universe. You just wasted Cad Bane. That was dumb.
I don't think he's
dead.
You
wasted it.
I think he's still alive.
He probably won't be dead.
He probably won't. Furious. I was like, what a waste.
I think he's dead. Like when you see the cameras pan over his body, you hear like a beeping. So I think that's a distress signal, which is going to go out to the bots that live on his ship. They're going to come, collect him up, and revive him. He's not dead, bro. He had a hole in his head.
Put him in the back of the tank.
He can't die. He can't die.
Yeah, I mean, maybe,
God.
but like
everything can be solved with the back to tank. Apparently,
exactly. Toss him in the old back to tank. Speaking of, should we talk about
that distress signal gets a back to pod and brings it in, and then it heals him up.
And, you know, like Cad Bane should have been in this show because he's a great antagonist. He should have been in the show episode 1 or 2. He should have been. He should have been very early on. He should have been the one that killed the Tusken Raiders. He should have been antagonizing Boba Fett this entire show, so that when Boba kills him, you're like, "Oh fuck yes!"
That would have been an arc, right? Like a beginning, middle, and end. That would have been amazing. Like it would have been like a cohesive storyline instead of just plugging shit in for your possible Star Wars multiverse, which is like that's cool and all, but like, what was the Boba Fett story? What was it? Like there wasn't a story there. Like it was just so like, oh, I'm with some Tusken Raiders now. I'm taking over for Jabba. Like, but even that is just like taking over for Jabba is just more fan service almost. Like because it's just like they want to reference Jabba. They want to throw some Hutts in there. Like,
and Cad Bane gives it away because Cad Bane's like, Boba, I just can't figure it out. What's your angle? Like, yeah, Boba, like, thank you. What's your angle? Like, what is this about?
I just decided I like Tatooine.
It's the writers. It's the writers when they were. When they were in the scene, it was like, oh shoot, like we don't know why Boba Fett wants to do any of this, so we need someone to ask him.
I think all of the things are there. I just think they're really bad at telling the story they wanted to tell because it feels like there's a really great show inside of this dumpster fire.
Exactly.
Because you know the idea that Boba Fett spends 5 years like a Dance with Wolves with the Tuskens, and he feels like Tatooine is his home now because he spent time with the Tuskens. Yeah. That's there, but they really didn't show you that well. They didn't show it to you.
They didn't.
They abandoned it so quickly.
Right.
Yeah, it ended too quickly. Like the first 3 episodes, if they were in chronological order, probably would have been just the show itself. And if they could elongate that and stretch that into the 6 episodes, that would have been fine. Like that would have been completely fine. If by the time at the end of the last episode he reaches like Jabba the Hutt's palace and then takes over, then we could have a season 2 and then they can start creating like an actual conflict at that point. But other than that, like his rise
they stuffed so much stuff that was just meant to be filler for other shows into it that they couldn't do their own story. It's infuriating. The payoff of him using the stick that the Tuscans do to get Bane at the end would have been so much better. Like, I know we had a whole episode about him making a stick and all that, but like, build it, make me wait for it. Don't just throw shit at me. Like, and again, like, he could have got the allegiances of the mods as opposed to just like, I'll pay you more. Okay.
Could you imagine a scene where we see Cad Bane standing over the female Tuscan and him killing her like outright? And then we get the same scene recreated with Boba Fett, but he like pulls it off and kills him instead because he's got like, that could have happened. They could have done that. They would have just like kind of like, I don't know how it is in a writer's room, but like that story's there.
And yes, and they could have like teased the Cad Bane, like he could have been like a silhouette for the first 3 episodes almost, where you never see his face until the episode 4. And then it's like, oh, it is Cad Bane, we do it, and everyone get all excited, and like there's a build up, and then it would have been so good.
Well, Flood, I was saying that for that episode when they were showing that the Tusken Raiders were going to get wiped out, I thought it would have been much cooler if, since you saw Boba Fett riding in with those long speeders. Then you have that next episode showing like they're about to get destroyed because you see another set of long speeders that look like those other bikers. Yeah. But it's actually like their doom coming, but like because they don't know it's Boba until he gets close enough, and then it's like it's too late. Yes. And that would have been so perfect for the story.
Myself,
it looked amazing.
Missed opportunities. Just so many missed opportunities in this.
Myself and Hoffman sat down and had a conversation yesterday about the show, and you made a very good point in that video, Hoffman, where you said that, like, you know, how well, of course, how many good points. How could they have not given Boba Fett the final kill of the Pike leader? Like, it's Fennec Shand. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, she had no business getting that final kill. Like, Boba should have burst into that room, gunslinging, like, just Wild West,
destroyed everyone.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like it makes sense, but like, if that scene had happened before the showdown, like, it doesn't make sense because then the leaders are already dead. Why are they still but at the same time, that's when it should have happened, like, because she was just like, I'm gonna go off and kill the thing, and then she's just gone for all of the exciting parts, so they just had to throw her back. They just had to show her again doing cool shit because like, she's a cool character, everyone loves her, she should have her own show, but like, so they just wanted to have cool shit to happen, but like, it was chronologically for the show story it felt weird.
Did you know? Did you know? I don't know how much of a fan you guys are of the animated series, but in Rebels, in Bad Batch, Fennec actually fights Cad Bane and she beats him. Mm-hmm. So why the hell did they not have a rematch in live action?
Yeah,
like that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
That would have been too many rematches.
I also think another like
bring him in from the start of the season and do that. You know.
Like, Fennec should have at least brought the Pike leader, Syndicate leader, to Boba because he's the crime lord. Your minion went out, grabbed this guy, he brings it back to you. And I think one of the themes of the show that could have been amazing is Boba wrestling with the legacy of his father. Like, Cad Bane brings that up again. He's like, the blood of your father runs through you. That should have been a theme that they focused on more. And I think there could have been a great moment at the very end of the series where Boba doesn't kill the Pike leader because he's wrestling with the idea of not wanting to be like his father, not wanting to be a bounty hunter, not wanting to be a killer, even though Cad Bane just said, I knew you were a killer. Which is honestly one of the dumbest lines ever. Like, of course he's a killer. He's a fucking bounty hunter. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's a surprise, Cad Bane?
Like, notoriously. Like, that was his whole MO in character, that we all knew about it from Star Wars was that Boba Fett kills people for money. That's literally his whole character for most of us for how many years?
I
knew you were a killer.
Up until
nothing in the show.
Up until like Clone Wars, he's like the only bounty hunter in Star Wars that you would know of. Like, if you say bounty hunter, everyone said Boba Fett. You know, before they even went to like the prequels, like anything around the the original trilogy. Like, I know you see Bosk and stuff in like Empire Strikes Back, but you know, no one knows who he is. It's like, the kind of crocodile-looking guy. Like, no one knew.
None of them had names.
Yeah, no one knew who anybody was. If you saw Bounty Hunter,
not for general audience. I mean, I know they all have names, but like,
of course,
they didn't have names for people. Not
exactly.
Really.
If you're just watching the movies, you know, you're the only bounty hunter you know is Boba Fett. Yeah. You know, big time. And now they've just expanded it so much, and like I just like. I've never been a Boba Fett fan, and I've said this many times. So I didn't care about the show. So for me, I was just so happy to get Luke and Ahsoka and Grogu and the temple being built and all this magical stuff happening. The M1 Starfighter, like that was all just my favorite parts of it, because I never gave a shit about Boba at all. Like when he showed up in Mando 2 and he was like a badass, I thought that was great. But then it's like when I think about everything all together, it just makes me more angry, because I'm just like, you know, when we see him in Mando 2, that's just before the events of his show, right? And he was a complete fucking badass, like just destroying stormtroopers. And then we come to episode 1 of his show, and he's a fucking pussy. I'm like, what? He's doing nothing. He's like just delegating all of his stuff to Fennec. He's not doing anything himself. And, you know, as the show goes on, he just gets worse and worse and worse. Like how he took orders, or like even like listen to the opinions of the modders, is beyond me. I don't understand that. I'm sorry. The guy is like, you know, Jango Fett at the time was like one of the like most ruthless and like bounty hunters in the galaxy, and like he ruled Mandalore before like the movies. Like complete badass. Boba learned from the best. Like there's no way Boba needs any sort of advice from the fucking mods. Like I'm sorry, I don't buy it for a second.
Cat said he went soft.
Yeah, we all go soft.
And that's the funniest part is like that they, you know, we never really got to know who Boba Fett was, and a lot of the, you know, critiques about the criticism is, well, you guys are just mad they're expanding down the character, you don't like who he is. And that is true, because they made a bad character. It's not just that they made Boba a worse character or a different character. They made a terrible character. Boba Fett is somebody who just is so agreeable that he's uninteresting. He agrees with everything everyone wants to do. He never digs in and is like, this is what we're doing. He's just agreeable to the point where, like, when Cad Bane says you went soft in your old age, he agrees with that. Like, he just doesn't, he like, just say no. Like, be somebody.
They didn't build. I would love them to expand on the Boba Fett character. That would be great. But that's not what they did. They just showed us this other character that wasn't Boba Fett and didn't show us the development really, other than, again, like the Tusken stuff was supposed to be a lot of that, like a revelation inside. But they didn't really show that in a way that was meaningful. Right off the hop, even when he was captured by the Tuskens, he's trying to help the other dude. Like it didn't fit with Boba Fett. So like there's a Boba Fett we know and loved, or we're interested in because he was mysterious. Then they just made him the exact opposite. They made him completely unmysterious and uninteresting.
Yeah.
Without any actual development of that or why that came about. And that's so infuriating to watch, because it just seems like they're taking a character and wasting him.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. But they did like
the fight.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You guys were talking about how badass he was, though. I will say that final fight with him and Mando, where they're like doing stuff and like shooting, taking the hits.
Oh,
that was pretty cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
The knee rockets were my favorite.
The knee rockets. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Trey in the chat says like, why he's so depowered, and I think earlier in the season they have him depowered for no reason aside from when he starts to pop off in the finale. They just wanted to make that feel better. Like he doesn't use his jetpack earlier in the season because they want to have the big moment when he's using his jetpack with the Mando in episode 7.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that's needed, but in episode 7 the jetpack fight is like they perfected the way the jetpack looks. I think in The Mandalorian it kind of looked a little cheesy in season 1, right? Like they didn't get it right.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez, for all his faults, he did that very well. Like he knows how to like move people in a 3D space in a weird kind of cool way. And you know, Flood's right. Like him and Mando out in front of there, like just like going off. Like, you know, Finto said like the knee rockets the other day we were talking, like he pops the knee up and the rockets are going off. Yeah. Like it's awesome, bro. Like it's awesome.
Such a good like defending the Alamo kind of scene where they're going down, they're taking the hits and they're still fighting and they're taking the hits, and it shows off the Mando armor being like as important as it is because blasters are meaningless. Oh my god, so many blaster issues that I had in this one. But anyway, it was just so cool to watch them. I don't know, like back to back two people in Mando armor, just like that was my favorite part of possibly the whole series. Like it was just such a good scene.
The two of them looked great on camera. I loved how they were panning around them, and like, you know, Mando's shooting off the wrist rockets and he's like hitting like 10 fucking targets and stuff. Like it showed them off for being the badasses they were, and I just sat there and said to myself, why are we only seeing this now? Like, you know, why when Boba went to take out the biker gang? Now I know that scene was kind of cool with Slave 1 where he rolled in and just blew them all up, but like they had opportunities to do cool Boba Fett shit and they just didn't do it. And I understand they want to like make you believe that like Fennec Shan is this fucking epic bounty hunter and she's a badass, but like half the stuff that she did should have been given to Boba. And you know, I just don't understand why Boba sat around for most of the show and did nothing. Like, I understand he's now a crime boss, and you know, the crime boss usually doesn't get his hands dirty, but come on, like he's like what, 40 years old at this stage, and for his
Tony
whole
Soprano
life
did.
Well, Tony did, but he was a different beast. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like for 40 years he's been a bounty hunter and he's been killing people left and right without even questioning it. And now he's kind of gotten a conscience. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, you know. And what I would like to ask as well, I'm curious, like, why or how long was it between the Tuskens being killed and where we are in the current day? That's like, I don't know.
Yes.
You know?
They didn't sell a lot of that stuff properly. Like, if the near-death experience of being inside the Sarlacc pit was what caused the problem, then why did, like, they didn't sell that to make him soft. Like, it didn't sell the idea that changed his whole perspective on the universe. They didn't sell that stuff, so he just became old man soft Boba for no reason. Right. And that's so hard to watch. That was what's infuriating. We can see it in episode 7 or whatever, the last episode, where he's still a badass, but why was he so soft the rest of the time? And why was he like, there's just no reason for all the character developments. Also, the writing wise, they how many times could you predict exactly what was going to happen? Like, oh, I'm going to send him out with a little thing, and it's like, oh no, he said that he's actually not going to give up. Ha ha ha. Yeah. And like they did so many things that were tropes. Like they threw in writing tropes left and right at us. It just felt like, again, they're just stuffing writing things in, not for any real reason, just because people are going to like this. Like, that's what they did. And it was not good writing. It was just writing. I don't even know what it was.
Right. Well, Robert Rodriguez, like, although he directed the fight scene with like Mando and Boba Fett, he's also still the mayor of Cheesetown, because when we saw those different fight scenes with the mods, and one of the mods decided to do a spin before taking a shot, which I thought was ridiculous. Yeah. Like, why, Robert? Why would you do that? Just let him shoot like normal.
Like, he can't get away from the Desperado, bro. You can't, Antonio Banderas spinning around with 2 guitar cases. He can't get away from it. He can't help himself. No. And honestly, Needless Spins are as old as A New Hope. You know what I mean? Like, Needless Spins in Star Wars and Needless Moves is always there. But the difference is the people who do it, we usually love those characters. And so we kind of give them a pass. Like, we love Kenobi, so he gets a pass on his stupid spins. When Anakin and Kenobi are fighting each other and they just start like swirling their blades in front of each other during this, it was stupid. But I'm like, I fucking love these characters, so it gets a pass.
We love Banderas.
Yes. Yeah. Who doesn't?
Well, and you have to remember, those were old movies, so like they had to kind of, cheese it up a little bit, just kind of give it that little swirl.
Yeah, and that stuff worked because Star Wars was a Western, right? Like, Star Wars is a Western. That's the reason that Mando works, is because it's got the samurai Western vibe to it. The reason that Boba Fett didn't work is because it tried to be a gangster movie, but also a Western movie, but also Dances with Wolves, but also like it didn't have its own identity. And so like that spin would have fit had the mod been in the style of everything else. But he's not. He's got his cool jacket and his eye thing, and he rides a little scooter. He does his little scoots. So why is he spinning around? Like, he's not a Western character. Get out of here with that.
Scoots. They should have been drive-by.
Dude, those messages are so dumb. Like, I don't care if they're bright as the day. There's no way they can make those look cool. Those are just so dumb looking.
Even the mods, like, I get the style of their jackets and stuff, but that's like, because they're the city people. They're the city people, but you're on Tatooine. The city is still a dusty bowl of garbage. What are you talking about? You got these clean line jackets and no.
Yeah.
No. And it drove me crazy.
I hated that, dude, so much.
And what really doesn't work for that is the fact there's only a few mods. There's very few. There's no population of mods. So where's your justification for just a few of them? Like,
they just don't fit.
It should have been an underground like situation where what if they had like their own nightclub? Like, that would have been fun. Like, if they
literally British too, weren't they?
I hated that.
I didn't notice that until recently.
I hated that so much, dude.
I mean, they've done British accents before in Star Wars, right?
I know, but like,
a gang
of like gang of young people with like deep English, like London accents. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, you know,
it's so on the nose and so dumb. Like it just doesn't fit. Like it's just plugged in because they thought it was a funny joke to say mod. Like it drives.
I always find if there's English people in like Star Wars, they're always very well spoken, kind of posh English. Whereas these guys were just like, you know, like 2020 people from London. Like it's like as if these guys just didn't know how to put on an accent. Like, here's a question for you: do you think that Robert Rodriguez gets to do another episode of Star Wars TV after this?
Nope.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my God.
I hope you're
let him go.
I hope you're wrong, because if like you got to think like look at the fucking data that's in front of you. All of the worst episodes of the show were the ones that he touched. Everything else was fantastic. First episode, really bad, really short, terrible intro. Second episode was great. He had nothing to do with it. Third episode was Rodriguez. Worst episode of, potentially one of the worst episodes of TV I've ever seen. Episode 4 was, again, a step back in the right direction. 5 and 6 weren't Boba, but were fantastic Star Wars content. And then 7, we're back to Rodriguez. It's like, it's there. It's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Well, you have to ask this question: which director do you know that's like has the potential to do fight scenes? Because as far as we know, like we have Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't remember if there were any fight scenes in her direction.
I well, you had Mando like chopping people up in the butcher shop and all that sort of thing in the
which
train.
was amazing.
It was unbelievable. She can do it.
So
Give
there's
her a
one.
trilogy.
I mean, you know, Dave Filoni knows how to do it. You know, like the episode of The Mandalorian where Ahsoka comes in and it's fucking some of the best lightsaber fights we've seen ever. Like that was so cool. And you know, you say, do we know any other directors who know how to do fight scenes? Robert Rodriguez barely knows how to do it. Like, come on, these are not spectacular fight scenes. You know,
I thought
it was
cheesy,
a spectacle. But the editing and the pacing of episode 7 was on the level of a Michael Bay film falling asleep. It's just nonstop action. There's no pacing in it. There's no stakes. Like, who cares? Who cares about this fight?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was just if you take out the part where it's Mando and Boba fighting, I loved that. The rest of it was just silly. Like Chrysanthemum getting like piled on by all the gators and stuff, and it's just like he just shows
and then
up.
he just comes walking back down the main street.
You don't even
like
see
nothing
him
else
fight
is
them.
happening.
You don't even
Getting
see him
shot
fight
like
them.
crazy.
He limps down
Bro.
the main street.
I know.
Did you guys realize that the only people that actually died during that ambush were those big people? like they got rid
They
of
don't even fight. These are some of the biggest fighters in Star Wars. These big gold like lizards. And they just get backed off a cliff. They don't even swing. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Oh my
I was
God.
like, man, what a way to get rid of them.
Yeah, dude. Jesus.
And then, like Chrysanthemum, like honestly proves that the only armor stronger than Beskar armor is plot armor, because literally that dude gets shot like 18 times with lasers and just keeps walking.
Here's an interesting fact, right? Because Chrysanthemum himself. Now I was watching. I got to give a quick shout out to Star Wars Theory. He did a kind of video on the whole history of Black Chrysanthemum. Worth a watch. It's only about 10 minutes long, but he was basically made a gladiator and he was sold into slavery by the gator race of people. That's why they had that. That's why they butt heads so much with the Wookiees, because they were put into slavery by them. So he basically gets put into like a kind of like fighting ring and becomes this big gladiator. But they actually replace a lot of his limbs with like metal limbs and stuff in the comics, which is canon. So the guy is an absolute beast. But like he's like Wolverine, like he's like enhanced, but they didn't explain it at all. So if you didn't watch or read those comic books, and if I didn't listen to that 10-minute video explaining that content because I didn't read the comics, you wouldn't have a clue. So like the normal fan who's watching this show is looking at that and going, how the fuck did that guy get out of that situation? You know, and now he's come strutting in and he's almost dead to a couple of blasters. Like, but he's like all these guys coming at him with swords and literally diving on top of him. He somehow gets out of that. I don't know,
even
bro.
with that knowledge of his enhancements and so on, they're the ones who made him a gladiator the first time, that race of people or whatever. They probably know a little bit about this, and they literally were piled. What were they doing when they piled on? Was it just like, hello, fine, and they jumped on?
Yeah.
Were they not poking him, stabbing him, drugging him,
What?
doing anything? Like,
They were
I don't
suffocating him.
understand. Like, what was their strategy? Just jump on and because it's fun? Like, I don't.
You know,
It doesn't make
shave
any
him.
sense to me. Like, I don't care how strong he is. Like, did they not do anything? Like, what were they doing? Literally.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Nonsense.
and there might be a
Nonsense.
problem in the writing room where it's like they need someone in there who doesn't know the Clone Wars, who's only watched the movies. They might need someone in the writing room who's like not the deepest lore person with Star Wars, because there's so much that like people don't know, and so it's like they don't establish anything in this.
And someone who wants good writing, not stupid jokes that then turn into giant plot pieces like the mods. I'm so mad at that.
Yep.
Like Star
The
Wars
mods are awful.
Star Wars have come out and said that, you know, they have like basically retconned the legend stuff. Like the legend stuff is not canon now. You know, we've gotten Thrawn mentioned as a character, so obviously they're bringing in some characters from Legends into this future storyline, but they have free reign to now do whatever they want. So, like, you know, why do they not have good writers coming in and just writing a new story? Like, it just seems like they're trying to bank on all of this, like, little nuggets from the past that only the diehard fans know about, and it just doesn't make sense to anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why Mando worked so well, because it was a brand new character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was someone that wasn't tied to anything in particular, and they had free range to do whatever they wanted to that character. And of course, they finally kind of bring it full circle and show like that Grogu can be taken by a Jedi and trained by a Jedi, which is nice. But then you leave the character by himself, which is great, because then you can expand upon that. But, you know, of course, they want to write Grogu back in. And so now we have, I don't know why we have Grogu.
Here's a question for you, and mostly aimed at the Flood because he's a guest here tonight. I think the three of us have talked about this before, but Hoffman made this point to me, and again, it's one of these points that I just can't get out of my head. But why did they not? Why did they not give all of the Mandalorian stories to Boba Fett? They had the character made. Like, could you imagine how good? Now, I know maybe the show wouldn't have been as good because it wasn't Mando. But at the same time, if you think of everything that Mando has been through with the Darksaber, with Grogu, with everything, like, just put Boba Fett in his place and give those stories to Boba.
Because they want to sell a good guy. Mando gets to be a good guy. Boba Fett was a bad guy. Now they're trying to turn Boba Fett into a good guy, and it's not working. Mando gets to be a good guy from start to finish, and he has a whole backstory that we get to relate to of being an orphan. So he has the orphan good guy back, like we can love him as a good guy straight up all the way. Boba Fett was meant to be mysterious bad guy, and then they stripped that away, and look how well that worked. It was awful. But Mando gets to be mysterious Western gunslinging good guy. He's the spaghetti Western dude that we all get to love. He's the lone samurai doing his thing. That's enjoyable. That's fun. Now, would I have loved them to do more of that with Boba? Sure, but if they wanted to do the crime boss thing, why didn't they go all out mafioso? I think they should have gone all out mafioso with the Boba Fett movie or show rather, and made it about crime boss shit. Instead of a samurai movie, make me a mafia movie. Except with Boba, that would have worked for me. I think they could have gone and make him evil, make him a bad guy, make him a Tony Soprano character.
Yeah,
where he's bad but kind of likable.
Flood,
like
would you like for
watching
him to?
that shit. Sorry.
Would you like for him to like sit back and be like, "I am conducting orders from here," like just kind of sitting back, as almost like the
and wear his
Godfather?
mask more. Yes,
Yeah,
I want helmet
Mask,
on.
Yeah.
He was walking around with his helmet off because he's a man of the people now, for no reason. Like I want him wearing the mask, sitting back, being like a dark lord in public. We get to see the behind the scenes shit where he's got the other stuff going on. But I think if they'd done more helmet and more like kind of likable bad guy, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more and gone mafioso with it. If that's what they want to make him a crime boss, make him a crime boss. But don't try to. Mando gets to be the samurai now. That's what they did with Mando. Cool. Yeah. And he gets to be kind of a good guy, likable samurai. Like maybe he does some bad stuff, but he's good guy, likable samurai.
I was going to say,
what are you going to do with Boba Fett? He was super mysterious, dark, evil bad guy. Like he's a bounty hunter we know very little about, essentially, like most of us.
Yeah.
There should have been no scene where he's around people outside of his inner circle where he had his helmet off.
Yeah.
Like anytime that he's not around just Finnick or whatever, like he should have had his helmet on so people don't see him or his expressions. And you're right about the mafia thing. And there's a great YouTube channel called Screen Crush, and they were going over the last episode. And there's so many parallels between this episode and like Godfather 2. Like there's a lot of scenes that like are
The
basically
hand in the melon.
Yeah, they're riffing off each other.
Yeah.
But like, why didn't they just do that for the whole show? Why don't they just like? It's
Go
obvious
full
it's in their
send.
head that they
Yeah,
want to do it.
full
It
send.
feels like a writer's room that's like a too many cooks thing. Because like I was saying that with you actually, Hoffman. I think I talked about it wanting to be a mafia movie back in episode 2 or 3 or something. Because I'm like, why aren't they just committing to this though? They keep trying to do too many different things. Again, the Dances with Wolves, also the religious awakening thing, and also the mafia movie, also adding mods, also like they just did too many weird things.
Yeah.
And also they're plugging in all of their other shows and being filler episodes for those. So like it was just, I really just wish they'd committed to one idea and gone all in on it. Like it would have been way more fun. If the whole season was related to the Tuscan stuff, that could have been really great. If the whole season was all about him taking over as a Hutt type character and taking over for Jabba, that would have been I would have watched that. That would have been great. And being all like dark mafioso. If the whole thing was him as an exile trying to build his way back up as a bounty hunter, cool. Just choose one thing and go with it. It would have been great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead, they stuffed in 7 things and none of them worked well because they just tried to be everything. They tried to reference Godfather. I think they were trying to do Godzilla with the Rancor. Like they were trying to just fit in references to things that people like. That's all they did this whole show.
Yeah.
Well, that point with the Rancor climbing up that tower
like
was
King
very
Kong.
reminiscent of King Kong.
Yeah, King Kong. That's what I thought.
That's what I meant
And
when I said Godzilla. Sorry.
Yeah, well, and I was going to die laughing if they started shooting him and he just fell.
Yeah. The big fucking screams and all. Oh, dude. And I gotta say, like, I'm thinking more as we're talking. I'm thinking about the whole kind of structure of the show, and it would have made more sense if they did all the Boba Fett stuff in the first 4 episodes or 5 episodes, and then like for the last 2 episodes, we do the whole Boba arc in 5 episodes, and then episode 6. We get introduced to Mando again, and then episode 7 we do the whole Luke thing, and then it's like the last note that you have in the series is like what Luke's up to. We're seeing the creation of the Jedi Temple, and then we know like Luke's Jedi Academy's coming, Ahsoka's coming, and all that stuff. It just would have flowed so much better. Like they ruined themselves by just pumping the brakes mid-season and just completely changing the narrative of the story and just going across the galaxy to talk about a different character that everybody loves. Whereas if they finished out the whole arc first and then went and told those 2 stories at the end, you would have. I presume we would have loved it, but at the same time we might have said, why is this Book of Boba Fett? But the Boba story's done, but it would have still flowed a lot better and made more sense.
But Book of Boba Fett needed Star Wars intro crawls. Because that could have been all of the Luke shit and explaining Grogu showing up could have been a Star Wars intro crawl to the episode instead of us having to actually watch a whole episode about that's not about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I think that intro crawl would have been amazing in episode 7 because then they can explain who the hell Cad Bane is.
Oh, right? Yeah. What a waste of Cad Bane! I'm so mad that they wasted Cad Bane the way that they did. Like he was so they actually did a pretty good job. Like I was really worried about a live action Cad Bane. They made him look pretty good, and then he did little roles and stuff, and his action sequence wasn't that bad. Like I was down.
He was good.
I got the sense that he was kind of a badass.
I thought he was great. And I think we're going to get more of him. I think he's going to appear in Obi-Wan. I think he's going to appear in Andor. I think he's going to show up in loads of more of the shows now. And I don't think he's dead. I think he's going to be in future stuff too.
Back to tanks for everyone.
Back to tanks for everyone.
Those 2 shows are in the past.
Funny. The only thing that I thought was funny though was like the fact that the makeup or whatever was going on was messing with his mouth. So when he tried to say Boba, it came out really weird.
Well, he's old. He's old.
Boba.
Yeah, he's old. He's old.
Boba.
Are you guys a little disappointed that Luke wasn't in the X-Wing? Like, how do they not bring Luke back to interact with Boba Fett after
insane.
Luke is the one who, we thought killed Boba Fett for all these years? Like, he knocked him into the Sarlacc pit. We don't bring him back to Jabba's palace for a little bit?
Why? How could Luke put Grogu into a ship and send it, like, self-drive it to a different planet across the galaxy? Like, it didn't seem like Luke at all. Like, it was it was so out of character, though. Like, anything could have happened. Like, he could have been apprehended in space. Something the ship could have got blown up. They could have got attacked. Anything
R2's
could have.
got this.
Yeah,
R2,
R2's
he
been
can do
driving the
anything.
X-wing for a long time.
Yeah,
Bro,
R2's an old hat at that.
He should have definitely dropped him off.
R2's got, taken Grogu across the galaxy before. Why not again?
Luke was busy building a school for no one, I guess, at that point.
Sorry, I'm a full believer that R2 is the one who snuck Grogu out of the palace during Order 66.
Yeah.
Probably, actually.
Yeah.
It tucked him in a little panel. Oh, I love that idea.
Because you saw there was like a lens kind of effect that Grogu was staring through during that sequence. And then when R2 sees Grogu at the end of The Mandalorian, like he gets really excited to see Grogu, almost like he knows him. Like I'm a full-on believer in that.
Yeah, maybe. I know, like obviously R2 would have been around the Jedi Temple at that time, so he probably knew Grogu. Especially with the fact that he looks like a little Yoda, you know what I mean? Like, and it's most likely that Grogu is Yoda's son, you know what I mean? I would say so.
A lot of people don't know that about Yoda. Yoda laid pipe.
Yeah.
Yoda was out and about. He was getting it done.
I saw him during those lightsaber fights.
Yoda pulled, dude. Yoda pulled.
There was that female of their species was on the Jedi Council in Episode 1.
Yeah.
Yaddle, or whatever her name was.
Yaddle.
But basically, she, the two of them, I think there's a thing in the Jedi Code that if a species is about to become extinct and you're the only chance left, you can break the Jedi vow and actually lay pipe. So I think it's actually the guy, do you know the dude, I can't think of his name, the Jedi who has the really long head and he dies in Episode 3? Do you know the dude with the really long head? The same story happened to him. His race was about to become extinct, so he leaves the Jedi Order for a while, goes and just like procreates and then comes back.
That's rule number 69 of the Jedi Code.
Just Yoda walking up to Yaddle and being like, "The last of our kind we are."
Yeah.
Oh no!
Smash!
I know what it's thinking about
Smash!
Yoda.
We must.
Oh my god! Stop! You sick freaks! Oh.
Oh my god! There's our next short. Oh my god!
You guys are disgusting.
Execute Max in the chat. Execute Order 69.
We're procreating here. Come on.
Oh my god!
Long way.
Oh my god, that was fantastic. So yeah, bit of a flop for the series as a whole. Guys, how hyped are we for Obi-Wan Kenobi? Are we prequel fans? Flood, are you a prequel fan, Flood? Or do you love Ewan McGregor? Do you like Hayden Christensen?
I love Ewan McGregor in general.
Yeah.
And I am down with the prequels generally. I haven't watched them in a long time. It's been quite a while. I'm down. I'm hyped to see what they do with Obi-Wan. Like I have reservations because Star Wars is one of those things that's kind of like the Marvel situation now for me, where there's all kinds of potential and they've got all the money and they've got all the people that they can do it right, but it's also really easy for them to do it wrong with many corporate overlords.
Facts. Facts.
And so I try not to get excited about these things. Do I want Obi-Wan to be good? Yes, I would love that. It would be fantastic. And if we've got Ewan, I'm down. But like, I could be disappointed. Like I could have been really excited about Boba Fett too, but that would have been real sad. Mando, no expectations, ended up great.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I think. Go ahead, sorry, Alex.
I was just gonna tack on and say I agree with Flood. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's neat," but I'm not going to be overly hyped for it. I want to see what they're planning to do first.
For Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah. This show for me, this show is the most important thing in Star Wars for me. Like Episode 3 is my favorite film. 2005, May 19th. I remember the day. Like I'll never forget the day.
Peter.
I literally like skipped school, went to the movies theater at 9:30 in the morning. I was like 15 years old. Brought a girl with me as well that I liked, and we went to see the movie. And it was one of the best days ever, bro. Like, and one of my friends came with me, brought a girl as well. His parents found out he skipped school. He left the movie with like 45 missed calls from his mom. It was like one of the best days ever. It was like such a funny day. I'll never forget it. But that movie to me will always be special. Like it's all like I genuinely think it's it's up there. It's on the top of my list for Star Wars movies. Like, it's just, I love Anakin. I love, like, his descent into being Vader. Like, I love the last, like, fight. Like, took the guys, like, 10 months.
Balance to the Force.
Yeah, it's gripping, bro. Like, 10 months of choreography that Ewan and Hayden went through to learn that fight. And they did everything themselves. There's no stunt doubles involved. Like, they shot the whole thing. So, it's just... Oh, it's incredible.
I just love him.
He's incredible. He's incredible. This show is 10 years after my favorite time in Star Wars, and it's going to be during a time that we, after the events of the Fallen Order game that we all played and loved. We're in that time. You know what I mean? So it's an incredible time to be in. Ewan McGregor coming back is going to be amazing. Like, I hope we get to see some really good scenes. I know there's going to be Inquisitors in it, which is going to be a really interesting story. So we're going to see him have some lightsaber fights. Big rumors that there's going to be some flashback scenes to like the Clone Wars. We're going to actually see de-aged Hayden and Ewan, and they're going to be in the Clone Wars like armor and stuff, like their general armor, and it's going to be live action. Like, it's going to be just crazy, bro. Like, honestly, I just can't wait. I grew up like at the perfect time when the prequels came out. I was in my early teens when going through those movies, and it was just, that was my obsession. Like, absolutely obsessed with Star Wars. Like, and just to get that more of that content, it's just going to be so special. Oh my god.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I am very, very hyped for Kenobi because I feel like I got no choice but to be extremely hyped for it. Yeah. Because if they don't nail it, it's going to ruin Star Wars for me. It's going to ruin all of Star Wars if they fuck this up. Yeah. So I have to be at like levels of 10 excitement because I got no other way to be, man.
That's a great comment though, because like, how many times has Star Wars been ruined for everyone? Like, I feel like Star Wars, like, oh, if they do this, it's going to ruin it for everyone. Well, that's what the next trilogy did for the original trilogy fans. That's what they've ruined Star Wars so many times, and they just keep coming, so it doesn't matter.
This one's
like,
different.
New generations keep loving the next piece of it. So like, everyone has their piece of it, and it just moves forward.
Kenobi is different because it's in that pivotal time between the prequels and the original trilogy. Like, it's that sacred time of Star Wars,
if they ruin it, they'll just make another trilogy anyway. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
and a new generation will love that, and it'll be their Star Wars, and they'll think we're all old idiots.
Grogu and Rey. Kenobi that's the next
beloved. He is beloved like no other Star Wars character. I would say that Obi-Wan Kenobi is more beloved than Luke Skywalker. I will ship that statement. I think more people love Kenobi. You spend more time with him, getting to know him. Like, he is a beloved character, and if they destroy the character of Kenobi, if they do this wrong, it breaks Star Wars in a way like we haven't seen, man. It just breaks it.
You might be right. You might be right, actually, because I love me some Kenobi. I get it, and specific. Well, I mean, like Old Man Kenobi, sure, but also you and Kenobi. So like,
yeah. But Kenobi's I have high hopes for good reasons. Deborah Cho is the one who is directing this, and this is unlike any other Star Wars TV. She's directing every episode. So unlike all these like really weird TV series where every episode of the Boba Fett feels different, this is going to have the same director from front to back. So the tone of it is going to feel the same. And she's done some of the best work in The Mandalorian. She did the episode where the Mandalorian took off his helmet for the first time, that Bill Burr episode where he has that great moment. Like, she's a really fantastic director. So like, that makes me excited, and I'm like, all right, maybe we got it. And
I wasn't thinking about that as the direction part, but I think you're 100% right. I think she's on point, and the fact that she's doing it start to finish, that's what you said. I didn't know that.
It's one
actually fills me with hope. I think that for these types of mini series, like, again, Boba was 6 episodes, 7 episodes, whatever. These types of like short series, and I know they're filming over top of each other and all that, so they need the multiple directors. But like, I think having one clear vision is critical, and I think for something like an Obi-Wan show, I think that will. You know what? You're actually getting me excited with those comments a little bit.
Yes.
I was trying to stay low key, but you got me a little bit excited with the direction. I think she can nail it.
Six 1-hour episodes confirmed.
Man,
that is almost the same runtime as the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So we're getting an Obi-Wan trilogy basically.
Yeah.
Insane.
Hoffman is truly bringing a new hope to everyone.
Oh, there we go. Honestly, if we see a scene of Ewan McGregor sitting in his little hut on Tatooine, modifying Anakin's lightsaber, getting it ready for Luke, I will fucking cry. Like, I was like, that is
Do you
gonna
think
be
that's the lightsaber
incredible.
in the poster?
Yeah, people are calling it Ray's lightsaber. I'm like, I'm gonna quit the internet right now. Like, oh my god, dude.
I will say my biggest fear in this entire series, and I stand like this is the hill I'll die on. They cannot have Obi-Wan fight Vader in this. It cannot happen. It
Confirmed.
cannot happen, and I'm
Confirmed.
so nervous.
It's already
It's
confirmed.
happening?
It's confirmed.
It's
confirmed.
such
It's
a
happening.
dumb idea, bro.
It's
That
it's
ruins
confirmed.
so much.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from because of the line that he says in the original, like the last time, you know, I was the student, now I'm the master, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is a little kind of like question mark on when he's actually referring to. It could be a second, interaction that they're actually referring to. But yeah, I don't know. Like I want to see. I want to see
George.
I want to see as many lightsaber fights as possible. We're gonna see Obi-Wan fight some Inquisitors, but I do definitely want to see a rematch with Vader as well.
Why?
Just because it would be epic. Like that
You're off your
lightsaber.
rocker.
That
you don't care about
lightsaber.
story. You don't
that
care about
lightsaber-
legacy.
That lightsaber fight is one of the best things ever, and I just want to see more of it. You know, definitely want to see more.
I want to see Obi-Wan's interaction with the Jawas, because I know he grabs like different sets of parts, and I know he's going to be constructing the lightsaber. So I'd love to see that, and I'd love to show like moments where he's writing notes on like how to construct it, and that leads to that point. Because I think what you said, Finto, in the past was that Luke finds like Obi-Wan's journal and learns how to create the lightsaber.
He's taking notes on his own lightsaber, not Anakin's. So
Okay.
yeah, and that he basically finds a journal which was like a step-by-step instruction of how he made his own lightsaber, and I think maybe he created that in in thoughts that maybe he wouldn't have got a chance. Like he kind of knew, maybe he could see the future, I don't know, but he maybe knew that he wouldn't be around to actually teach Luke to make his own lightsaber. So and that's why Luke's lightsaber, his Hero V2, I actually know the name of the hilt. His Hero V2 hilt looks exactly like Obi-Wan's hilt because it's made from the same blueprints, basically, which I thought was clever.
You think Obi-Wan knew he was going to die to Darth Vader before he met Luke?
I don't know. He definitely kind of gives up, and I think it's what he does it on purpose to, you know, set Luke on his path and kind of give him a kick in the ass and say, look, you know, you need to step up and it's all on you, kid, sort of thing. But I don't know.
And to become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just saying, Jedi's can see the will of the Force. Some of them have that power, and maybe Obi-Wan sees that he's going to die, so that's why he like makes the journal. He's like, I know I'm not going to be around for this because I've seen the future. Much like Qui-Gon Jinn, you know, there's a rumor out there that like a theory that he knew he was going to die to Darth Maul. And, like when he was meditating, he accepts it because he sees it in the Force.
Yeah. Like I think only a certain amount of Jedi have the power to actually see the future. Like Anakin was one, Luke has the power as well. I don't think Obi-Wan does. So unless maybe like just before your death you might see it coming, but
Might not have seen the whole future, but maybe just like that, like just this kind of overwhelming knowledge that this is not my fight. I'm going to like this is, you know what I mean? Just like that sense that it might be someone else's destiny, not yours. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd imagine tossing all that stress, though. Here you go, kid. Fate of the galaxy in your hand.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch episode 3 before the first episode of Obi-Wan, I think.
Ooh.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
When does Obi-Wan
get
come
in
out?
the
Do we
mood.
know?
25th of May.
Whoa,
Which yeah, dude. And everyone was kind of like, why is it not on May 4th? Why is it not on May 4th? Do you know, I only saw today someone figured out that the 25th of May is something like 45 years after, like to the day 45 years that Alec Guinness first like had his betrayal of Obi-Wan. So it's like 45 years later. So it makes sense that they've waited till that day.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
I like it.
Yeah, and because I'd say we'll probably see him transition into Ben, but at the end of the show.
It just, I don't know. If it's like Rogue One levels of great for Star Wars, it's gonna be amazing. If it's like the Book of Boba Fett, like it's gonna be the worst thing ever, and I'll be so deflated. Dude.
It won't be. It can't be.
I feel like Book of Boba Fett, like I feel like they took their eye off of Boba Fett because of Kenobi, though. Like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and everyone, they're like, we have to nail Kenobi, and so we can't really work on Boba Fett as hard as we want to. We can't put our focus there as much as we want to.
To be fair, I feel like Boba Fett was like a lot of the reason that it exists is pandering marketing. Like everyone's like, you know who people love is flipping Boba Fett. Let's throw him in there. Let's do a Boba Fett. Everyone loves Boba Fett. So they just did it, and then they filled it with references because everyone loves what's that thing with the speeder through the canyon or whatever. Everyone loves that. We'll do that in there. Yeah, we'll do Baker's Canyon. They're gonna lose their minds. It's gonna be great.
I did.
I know everyone did. Like. Yeah. But it's just them like satisfying people who know references or like references. Like it's just references. It's not a good story. And I think that might have been what happened to Boba Fett. Like I think Boba Fett had all the potential, as I say, but I think they squandered it.
I do think, and I heard this, and I think it's actually true. So there was between seasons like 2 and 3 of Mando, between like the shooting of season 2 of Mando, Pedro Pascal said that like there was a lot of fighting behind the camera, basically saying, you know, he wanted to take his helmet off more. He wanted more actual FaceTime on screen, and they didn't want to do it. He's a Mandalorian; he needed to stay in the helmet and stuff. And I think they literally proposed the idea of the Boba Fett show to kind of maybe try and scare him back into place. And there was genuinely a lot of back and forth with them and a lot of arguments between them. And then they said, "Yep, look, we're going to greenlight Boba Fett." And then I think in hopes that they thought that maybe Boba Fett would actually take off, and then obviously they bring Mando in obviously during the show, but I think he kind of came back to like kind of into understanding with Disney that he's needs to keep the helmet on. Like, you know, I think what he was kind of fighting for was that he would stop being a Mandalorian and take the helmet off altogether maybe, and then just be Pedro Pascal on screen. So I think there was a lot of real world shit that made that Boba Fett show possible, and a hole in the Disney fucking schedule. They needed 7 weeks. They needed 7 weeks. So. I do as well. But he's a Mandalorian, you know?
Yeah, but he had that little scene where they talked about, have you ever taken your helmet off, which was in Boba, actually. So, like, they could go down that rabbit hole eventually. Like, they could find a plot way to do it if they really wanted to, I suppose. I also, one of the behind-the-camera things the few ones that I read was related to, I can't remember the cat's name who plays Boba, but him talking about how he wanted to speak less. He's like, I'm talking way too much in this show. He's like, Favreau was like on the phone with him, like, no, you do it. You got to say the words.
Yeah, he hated it. He didn't want to talk at all.
Because they killed the mystique.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think when he came back in episode 6, was it? He just stood there. Now, he wasn't wearing his helmet, but he just stood there. He said nothing. He just looked like a badass standing in the thing, and I was like, that's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
A man of few words, very intimidating. That's what I want out of Boba Fett.
I think Tamara Morrison, I would honestly prefer to see him play like cloners and stuff, and see him maybe do more Django stuff. I don't really want to see him as Boba. I want to see him as Rex. I want to see him as Cody. Like, you know, that would be fucking cool, dude. That would be so
him
cool.
As an actor, like, he's great. I don't think anything is his fault. I think he was awesome. I just feel like there was a lot of writing, production, direction stuff that was just mismatched constantly throughout this show. Yep. That's where
Did you hear the Ahsoka theory flood?
Tell me more.
We've spoken about it before. I don't know if
I spoke. With Luke.
Well, that's obvious, yeah. No, basically, so at the end of Rebels, she's about to be killed by Vader in the show, and Ezra appears from like a pocket dimension and grabs her and takes her into this like other dimension. So the theory is that we're actually following Ahsoka, and this is like us following her into a different timeline where the sequels don't exist. So everything that we're going to see now is going to lead to a retcon, and we actually won't be in the main Star Wars timeline. We'll be in a separate timeline where the sequels never happened. It's out there. It's crazy, but I kind of love it at the same time.
Because a lot of people wish the sequels didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's exactly what it is. It's like, let's get rid of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's wild, but I think it kind of works, and it's kind of ballsy enough that I think they could kind of do it. Like,
there is no fucking way.
I mean, sure. Like, I'll suspend all disbelief at this point. Just give me good Star Wars. I don't care.
I'll be very interested to see in the Ahsoka show, because they're gonna have to explain what happened to her, because she disappears for like 30 years. Like, where was she for the original trilogy? You know, she would have helped Luke, she would have helped Obi-Wan, she would have gone to find Yoda. Do you know what I mean? She would have tried to take...
Probably in a back the tank.
Yeah, she tried to fight Vader numerous times and tried to bring him back. So she must have disappeared and went somewhere for like 30 years. So I hope they do explain that. And I know they have cast someone to play Ezra in live action as well. So
I mean, that's got to be answered for them already, because there's no way George Lucas and Dave Filoni, you know, put that character around and not answer that question. They've got an answer for it.
I don't think there's an answer for it. If there is, I don't know it.
Well, because Ahsoka was only really popular and interesting because of Clone Wars, right? That's why we care or know about her, really. Like, so
Yeah.
She's Anakin's Padawan, yeah. Like, that's what kind of made her interesting as a character. But then she basically gets framed. To give a quick kind of history on Clone Wars for anyone who hasn't seen it, she gets framed. It's amazing. She gets framed by an Inquisitor, and basically the Jedi she gets kicked out of the Jedi Council, and she like renounces the Jedi and kind of becomes just a Force user. She's not Sith, she's not Jedi, she just sits in the middle, and that's why she had the white lightsabers and stuff. I thought it was great storyline.
Man, these
Yeah,
Jedi.
she just disappears. She just disappears, and then we see her pop up in The Mandalorian 30 years later after her disappearance. It's like, where the fuck have you been? You know, it's crazy.
It's a big universe, though. You know what I mean?
But, yeah, like I was just gonna say, that's actually kind of great because it goes back to the Mando thing and what original Star Wars is. She gets to be that like lone samurai, just wandering the universe, doing cool Jedi shit. You know, just saving small villages, or you know, just doing her own thing, like doing some samurai shit. Which that's the best Star Wars, is either Western samurai, that kind of stuff. When they dive into that, and again, that's where I want to see. I was gonna say about the what's it called, the Ewan McGregor, the Obi-Wan, as long as it follows the heart of Star Wars, like it's got to follow like the heart of the style, the feel of a Star Wars thing. And that's where Boba Fett lost it, is they lost the soul of Star Wars. It didn't feel like it was most of it didn't feel like it was in Star Wars. It didn't feel Star Warsy, where Mando does. Mando has that Western vibe, as I say. Like all those ones, like they got to feel that. And if you're explaining, maybe that's what Ahsoka was up to. She was just running around doing Star Warsy shit, which would be perfect. I'm down with that. I'll watch that. Just the extended tales, like I'm down. Whatever.
Yeah, I just
do some lightsaber shit.
I don't know how like it doesn't really make much sense to me that if she was around, that she wouldn't be keeping an eye on Vader and what he's up to, seeing like the construction of the fucking Death Star and having nothing to do with any of it, and then hearing about, you know, a new fucking Jedi coming along, and you know, because like that news spread across the Republic fast. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well,
I just don't know why she wouldn't be involved.
Maybe, and this is where the Kenobi show might ruin Kenobi. The idea about Kenobi is, even though he knew about all the stuff going on in the universe, he shut himself off to the Force so no one could find him, and he was just a monk hidden away on Tatooine in the outer realms of planets, so people couldn't find him. And he could protect Luke, and I could totally see where Ahsoka does the same thing, shuts herself off to the Force, and hides away on a distant planet where people can't find her. Because that's what I thought all the Jedis did, and that's why, you know, the Kenobi show is kind of a mystery to me. What it could be about. It's like, all right, well, Kenobi actually was, you know, going and fighting Inquisitors when he was supposed to be fighting, you know, or protecting Luke and like sherpering Luke's protection until he's a Jedi. Like, it's just, nerve-wracking, nervous stuff here.
I don't know if this is the actual plot, but I've heard like potential like rumors that the storyline will kind of basically the Inquisitors are going to try and capture Leia, a young like child Leia. 10-year-old Leia, and basically just for her political stance and like her connection to Bail Organa. And Obi-Wan obviously hears about this and maybe like leaves Tatooine to go save her, maybe leaves Ahsoka to look over Luke while he's gone or something like that. It'd be a cool way to kind of bring her in, but then again it does beg the question that if she's in contact with Obi-Wan and knows that he's alive, you know, again, why would she leave again? But I don't know, maybe something happens in the show that would make that transition make sense, but again, I don't know. I like the idea of the Inquisitors like going after Leia, and then Obi-Wan going, okay, fuck, I need to come out of hiding and take care of these Inquisitors.
Yeah.
And then obviously after he kills the last Inquisitor, he obviously Vader gets wind of it or whatever, and then they have their second meeting. Boom.
No, don't say boom. There is no second meeting. There's no second meeting. Literally, George Lucas said this is the first time they met since the time on Mustafar. Okay?
Yeah, but
There's
what does
no
George
second
Lucas
meeting.
know about Star Wars? Let's be honest.
Fair enough. It's an honest to God good point, Flood.
Didn't George Lucas kill fucking Boba Fett in Episode 6? Hey, what are we
Yes,
gonna do? What are we
it's
gonna do
just
with Boba here? It's like he's like, I don't give a fuck about Boba Fett. Just throw him in the pit.
Yeah, he knew. George knew all along. This is a crappy character. Leave him in the pit. We
Yeah,
don't-
exactly. 100%.
Sad.
Oh man, I'm excited for Kenobi. Nervous about it. Again, your question about Ahsoka. I swear, Dave Filoni has an answer for this. Him and George worked on Ahsoka, and through all their brainstorming, they absolutely had to ask themselves, "All right, well, what was she doing during A New Hope?" They had to have asked that to themselves.
Yeah.
So they know where they're going with it, right? They have to.
I think so. Yeah, I hope so.
Well, they have to build it based on the popularity of the animated series, obviously. Like they're like, oh,
Right.
we can do more with this character. So what are we going to do? Let's figure it out. And they've had some time to think about it. They've had some smart people, hopefully, writing on it.
There's a Legends book about Ahsoka. I haven't read it. I actually own it, but I haven't read it. And it's meant to be excellent. Again, they've retconned all the Legends stuff, but it's meant to be a great story. Haven't read it though.
I really don't want Ahsoka to be intertwined with anything else at this point. I really think that it should just be her own stories, much like The Mandalorian, just having her go on and do adventures. I want more stories that don't have to do with everyone else. I just want, things happening.
I think the whole Tron arc will be Ahsoka's mission, because she asked about Thrawn in Mando season 2, so that's her mission. She's looking for Thrawn, so I think that's where her show will go. Ezra will be there with her as well, praying that we get like a Cal Kestis as well. That would be incredible. And then we're definitely going to get more Luke. Absolutely. Maybe flashbacks to how they first met. That's scenes we need to see. But then I think there'll be some current stuff as well. And I would not be surprised if by the end of Ahsoka, if we see Luke's temple finished and they're all there and that's the new Jedi Council. You know what I mean? Like they'll all meet up and you've got the council sitting there. It's going to be like Ahsoka, Ezra, Cal, Luke, and then Ben will be his little, like we'll get introduced to a little Ben Solo, and Ben will be his little Padawan.
That way we can care when Ben kills them all. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Wrap it up in a tiny little bow.
Yeah.
They need to take Star Wars like 100 years in the future, bro.
Yeah, I think they should. I think they really should. And then Grogu's the only one to still be around.
Like they need to take it like 100, 200 years in the future, and like the Jedi are like The Witcher, where it's like their order is still around, but there's only like a handful of them.
Isn't that what the books did? Like I was pretty sure the extended universe in the books is like down into like Luke's generational kids and stuff. Like you're in a whole other world basically. Like it's all all this shit is history. I think that's what I never read all the books. I just had friends who were like obsessed. They had whole drawers filled. There's so many extended universe books. It's insane.
I feel we gotta get further away from the legacy of like Luke and all that. Like I feel like we just have to get away from the Skywalker era of Star Wars, and get to a place where they can build brand new stories that people aren't gonna like me flip out because like you're ruining Kenobi. Like that's where we gotta go.
Sorry for Borks.
That's okay. Bro, you don't have to apologize for Henry.
He's so cute, but he gets really angry about things walking nearby.
Like every dog.
He's a little protector.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't like maybe 500 years later, that would give them plenty of time to like get far beyond, and then Skywalker just becomes a legend. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, like Grogu's probably more like a mature adult at that time, because don't they take like hundreds of years to mature?
Yeah, like Yoda was like 900 when he died.
Yeah. So do about 500. That should make him an adult.
Nice,
and
nice
then
middle age.
That's his prime.
Green boy.
Yeah.
He'd be talking in riddles.
I mean, that's what's cool about the High Republic book and the series they put out. Is like Yoda's in that, but like Yoda's at his prime. It's like peak Yoda, and like he is powerful. Like he's doing stuff that everyone's, and he's a legend in his own right. They're like, Master Yoda is helping. Oh my god! And then the books are terrible, but seeing Yoda as prime is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they like we've said this before, Hoffman. Like they either need to like go 1,000 years in the future or 1,000 years back. Like we have all the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, like all those storylines. The Old Republic storylines are incredible. Are and like we kind of know it's like armies of Jedi and armies of Sith, and it's just all out warfare. Like, and I think that would be cool to see. Maybe a one-shot movie, maybe not a trilogy. Maybe you could do a trilogy. I don't know, but
More badass animated series.
I want to see something like that in live action. I think like, you know, for me when I was a kid, I remember I was like fucking 13 or something when episode 2 came out, and like I loved seeing all the Jedi fighting in the Colosseum. But when you go back and watch that now, you're kind of like, oh, it looks shit. Like it looks terrible. Like it's just, you know, the CGI at the time just wasn't there. But could you imagine that now? Like imagine how good they could make all that stuff now. Like it would just be
With Unreal Engine 5.
Lord of the Rings style shit, but just with lightsabers everywhere, just carnage. I think it would.
If
just
George
be crazy.
Lucas still had the license, we would have already gotten a remastered version with the Unreal Engine 5.
It's true.
With him like redoing all those scenes for us.
Oh,
But
yeah.
will we get any of that with Disney though? Like,
They're
my
not allowed,
problem is
they're not
Disney,
allowed to
dude.
touch. They can't touch any of George's stuff. That's part of the clauses. Anything that George has touched, it's done. That's it. It's finished. They can't remaster anything. They can't.
Oh yeah, I know. But I'm saying going forward, like if you wanted like a new versions of that type of scene, but you want it to look like all super badass and there's blood and blah blah. It's Disney. It's not going to do it.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, it would
I think
be-
Disney neuters Marvel. I think Disney neuters Star Wars. I think Disney neuters everything, and it makes me sad.
Well, I was actually kind of shocked to see Mando chop a person in half with the darksaber. I thought, wow, that was kind of hard. It was kind of hardcore for Disney. You know,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, the
That's
lightsabers,
something-
there's no blood. You know, there's
Yeah.
real high, seals it up real tight for you.
Yeah, but like even
That's-
just seeing somebody get chopped in half was I was taken back by it. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I can't
Yeah.
believe Disney allowed that.
Truth.
Yeah. And that's something that I really wish we didn't have to say.
Yeah, I know.
That's something that Disney wouldn't usually do. It's like, come on, Disney, like start putting it forward.
that's
Like we have all these characters that like are gruesome, are brutal. And like you got to show them. You can't just like give them something. You can't give them that and then be like, "Oh no, they're pushovers now like Boba."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Boba.
I love that Liam comes into the chat and goes, manners, I like it.
Oh my god.
Liam, how dare you, dude.
And there was nothing for that. Like there was no
Dude.
no manners mods fighting
Yeah.
with her about manners. That wasn't like set up. It was just a comment. It was just a dumb comment for no reason that added nothing.
Don't British people have the best manners? And then
No.
her helmet, I didn't even realize her helmet like actuated. That
Yeah.
looks so weird when she like tipped it down, like, oh, manners, my lady. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
All right.
Damn you, Liam.
Bah.
Aren't you a little old to be here?
Yeah. Did you know
It's just
Kenobi? Did you know Kenobi's going to be in the Andor series as well?
no kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know about this series.
The Andor is like basically the sequel to Rogue One. It's following like the people
The
of Rogue.
prequel?
I think it's the prequel to Rogue One. Sorry, what am I
You
saying?
can't have a sequel to Rogue One.
Yeah, sorry. The sequel to Rogue One is Episode 4. Sorry, yeah, it's a prequel. It's a prequel to Rogue One. My apologies.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, if they rolled out the back to tank, that would be fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Back to tanks for everyone.
he
Again,
literally disappeared into nothing. But yeah, let's just fill up the bat tank and cross our fingers and fucking hope.
All you need is a nice warm bath. You're gonna be okay.
Throw his robe in there.
Yeah.
To start soaking it, and his boots.
I think Liam's the one that even put me onto it. They already like greenlit a season 2 of Andor. So apparently
Yeah.
what they're seeing from the story and like the early stills are like they're liking the story
Yeah.
and where it's going. And I'm pumped for it because Rogue One is like was literally one of my top 3 Star Wars movies of all time. Like I love Rogue One.
Yeah,
It's
Rogue One.
fantastic.
It's incredible, dude. Rogue One is amazing. I think it's so amazing because it doesn't really feel like a Star Wars movie for most of the movie, and then at the very end of the movie, it just kind of sucks you right back in. It's like, oh shit, this is what they're doing. Okay, and then you're kind of like, okay, right, we're back into Star Wars now.
Yeah.
It could be number one. It could be number one for me. I think it's
Empire's
realistically.
always my number 1. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I like it's Empire, Episode 3, and Rogue One are the top three, and in no specific order, like because I just can't really choose a favorite out of them. Like, but they're the Gospels, right there.
I'll give you an argument why Empire is the best one. The reason you love Star Wars the way you do, and the reason we think about Star Wars in the manner that we do, is because Empire Strikes Back. If you go back and watch A New Hope, it's not the strongest movie in the world. No. Darth Vader isn't that terrifying. There's nothing that great about it, right? Like it's interesting and the performances are fun. But when you go to Empire, that's when Star Wars really becomes Star Wars. Yeah, that's when Darth Vader is terrifying. That's when the Force is really explained. Like it's
you see the Empire first real fucking lightsaber fight. Then we get obviously the Luke, I am your father line, like, you know, that just shook the world. Yeah, you're right. Like, you know, like Luke is.
You get development on all the characters. Yeah, like, they all actually become themselves.
Yeah, I've rewatched Star Wars 100 times in my life, like, and honestly, I skip episode 4 every time. Like, I just don't bother watching it. Like, I really don't. It's rough. It's rough. It's it was filmed in 1976. Like, and you like, no matter how many times they've remastered it, you know that it's filmed in 1976. Like, so it's a rough watch, and I always found it to be the most boring one. Like, I liked obviously being introduced to Han Solo and stuff, but other than that, the movie is just so boring to me. Like. I'm like, give me Empire straight away and Return of the Jedi. Like, they were just the Gospels when I was a child.
Yep.
Yeah, so good.
Do you think that they should do a Star Wars Legends animated series that is like Marvel's What If? So all these like decanonized stories they can just do like in one shots.
I'd love it.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I think it'd be great. Woo! Do like Luke, like marrying Mara Jade and doing the whole like evil Luke storyline and stuff. Yeah, like savage. Would love it.
Yeah, I would love to see the Cade Skywalker story.
I'm telling you, I think they should do Star Wars Legends as a What If style TV show, and do animated versions so they can do it on not on the cheap because animation costs money, but like without all the actors and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I would like good voice actors.
Yes or yes. Yes or yes.
100%.
Star Wars voice actor is really good, actually. Like their Clone Wars, I like fantastic.
I was more referencing your What If comparison.
Okay, sure. Mark Hamill's one of the only actors that can voice act.
Mark Hamill's so good.
He really
I love him as a voice actor. He's the best. I just love him. He's so fun.
He is the Joker. You know, it's him and Heath Ledger.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's him and Heath Ledger, like, you know. Like they are the Jokers, like.
It's funny how much you listen to him now and you cannot not hear the Joker. Like it's just part of his voice. He just modifies it just slightly enough so that it sounds more like the Joker when you actually watch the shows.
I just love all of his laughs and everything as the Joker. He's just he's so committed to it. It's incredible.
Honestly, the animated series Joker with him is more the Joker for me than Heath by a fairly long shot, honestly.
Of course, but when you think of Heath Ledger, it's more of I would say a humanized Joker as opposed to like a comic based Joker.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a completely different version of a Joker for me, and it's a completely different series and show or whatever. So classic Joker is not Heath for me at all. It's probably more that animated series, which comes more from the comic book and more in that line and vein of thinking.
Yeah.
Mark
like
Hamill,
some Killing Joke and some that. And
Mark Hamill played the Trickster in the like 90s version of The Flash, the TV show, and he looked absolutely awful. Trey in the chat's like, what about him as the Trickster? That was so funny. It was basically a live action Joker at the time, but yeah, the Trickster's actually a good character in the comic books, but they did him kind of weird in that show, and then they brought Mark Hamill back in the new Flash TV show, and he played like the current Trickster's father or something like that, and he got broken out. He's the original, like, but they brought old Mark Hamill back like to relive the role. Like, I thought it was brilliant. Like, yeah, it was really really cool, really fun. Not
a lot of people know this about Mark Hamill, but they also brought him back to play Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, and it was fucking terrible. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
That was him? I thought that was Jake Skywalker.
Okay. Just a fun fact.
Yeah, that is a fun fact. Man. That is a fun fact. Jesus.
All right, you guys going to move on to your Peacemaker shenanigans?
I was going to say, yeah, we probably don't have too much left to talk about, but Flood, it was fantastic having you, dude. I don't know if you want to give yourself a little shout out there to anybody who might be watching.
Twitch.tv/The Flood TV on Twitter. Thank you so much
Go
for
give
having
him-
me.
go
I
give
really
him a follow,
appreciate it.
guys.
Honestly, it was a pleasure. I'm so glad to have been here. I always have it's always a treat with you marvelous gents.
What's the stream streak at? Is it 461? 462?
460 something. I was just +1. I don't even remember anymore. It's getting out of hand.
For anybody who does not know the Flood, he has streamed for the last 460 plus days in a row. He will never
Does this
take a
count when I
break.
take the night off? I don't know.
Yes.
You're on. Well, you're on Twitch.
No.
But yeah, no, it doesn't get.
It's horror night. I got stuff to do.
Dude, thank you so much as always. And as I say every time, the door's always open. Come back whenever you want. Just if there's something you want to talk about, we'll be talking about it. You know where we are.
I got to pay attention to what your topics are, so I know when I should jump in or not. Because Spider-Man was perfect for me. Loved it.
Yeah.
This was great because I've been watching the boba and all that jazz. So this
Maybe-
has
We'll
been
keep
great.
an eye on your
Maybe-
Twitter. See what you're ranting about.
Pretty much.
Maybe again at the end of Obi-Wan. So that'll be like kind
Oh.
of June. That'll be end of June or something like that. So that'll be,
I'll stay on top of Obi-Wan just
Yeah.
for no other reason, so I can rejoin
Yes.
you guys and rant about it. It'll be fun.
let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Oh,
Have a
I'd
great night,
love
guys.
Later,
for you to
dude.
come back as Moon Knight.
Later,
That'd be
Flood.
awesome.
Moon Knight, yeah.
Later.
Later, dude. Moon Knight
He's
might
the
be
best.
Moon Knight might be a good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his handle?
He's our-
Oh, here, I'll shout him out in the chat.
He's the best. He built his stream on Fortnite and DVD, but really he just plays a lot of like Tarkov now. He
Big
does
Tarkov.
horror nights. His community is just tons of fun to be around, man. The Flood Zone, it's a really unique atmosphere in there. So if
It
anyone
is.
doesn't know the Flood, like you'll enjoy him and his community
Yeah.
every night.
And just remember, it's not a cult.
Yeah,
It's a cult.
it is a cult.
It's a fucking cult, bro. It's very scary. I just keeping my eye on it. Keeping my eye on it at all times.
We got him. Yeah, Peacemaker, episode 7. Only one left. This was the second last episode of the season. Do we get a season 2? Do you think so? Like, I think this show has to go on, right? Like, no matter what happens at the end, it's got to go on. Like, it's every week. It's so good. It's so impressive.
Yeah, I think
it'd
like
be great.
season 2 is only doesn't happen if James Gunn doesn't want it to happen, right? Like, I don't know what he wants to do going forward, where he wants to take the characters, but the show, in terms of its quality, has been a 9 out of 10. Every episode has just been fantastic. It's been fun. It's been light. It's been meaningful. And yeah, it's episode 7 was fucking amazing, man. Like, it was such a good episode.
I loved the
Uh,
back and forth with him and his dad. It was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I think
and the overall humor
yeah.
is like just spot on. Like nothing felt too much. Even things that you would think that would be like left on the side after they talk about it, it pops back up for a quick second just to give you that quick laugh, and then it goes off.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah, I really, really like it. If there's anyone in the chat who hasn't seen it, we're talking about Peacemaker, which is on HBO MAX. If you're in Ireland, I don't know how you're gonna get. You might have to download it illegally, because we don't have HBO over here. But it's a fantastic show. It basically takes place after the new Suicide Squad movie. It's really good. It's really, really good. And I just love how this was actually the first episode they didn't reference any of the Justice League or anything, which I was kind of a little bit upset about because I love those references and I love how they are just shitting all over them and they don't care. It's the first one that they didn't have that, but again, it didn't bother me at all. Like, the story was great. I think Harcourt, is that her name? The girl who goes out with James Gunn in real life. I thought she was really good this episode. Like, she's kind of been a little bit of a backseat character, not like, one of the main characters, but I think she really came into her own this episode, and I'd say she's definitely got work now for the next while with him, like, because she's good. Like, I kind of looked her up on IMDb and stuff, and I don't think she's actually acted much before this, which is interesting. So I'd say I wouldn't be surprised if she like pops into the MCU in like Guardians 3 somewhere. Like, definitely, like, she'll just be getting jobs left and right.
Her fight with
great.
Judo Master was actually a really great fight scene inside of a hotel room. And I think a lot of times there's always this trope in Hollywood where it's like everyone gets beat up and then like the female like agent like just throws down a can of fucking whoop ass on somebody.
Yeah.
And I think they handled this one really well where like she held her own.
Yeah.
And then Judo Master really started to like, kick her ass. And then she's like, gotcha, bitch. Like rope-a-dope. Like, I love that moment. Like, it felt so good. And like Judo Master is one of my favorite characters I've ever seen made in a comic book superhero movie. When he smashes that dude's head through the window, I fucking lost it, man.
Yeah, incredible, dude. Incredible.
Such a great character.
And I love that every time he just pops in, he's just chewing on Cheetos and stuff. Like, he's just so funny, dude. It's so good.
There's something about that. There's a theory that he's doing that so that if a butterfly tries to get in his mouth, like they're gonna hate it.
Yeah. Or like his mouth is always busy, so you can't actually. Yeah, nothing can fly in. That's actually very intelligent. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Too spicy for him.
I love the vet scene. Especially like with all the back and forth and the hypocrisy of Vigilante.
Yeah.
God, talk about a great character.
Yeah, he's so good, dude. He's so good. I love that scene where he's like, oh, are we going to kill these guys? Yeah, well, let's just put a bullet between their eyes or whatever. And then they're just like, no, we're not going to kill them. It's like, oh, we better watch their hands with the duct tape. Like, that'll hurt when they take it off. It's like, you were just about to shoot them in the face.
And then the vets are all gung-ho to get after the butterflies. They got guns and stuff. Like, James Gunn is hilarious, bro.
Yeah, they're like, shh, let's go fucking do it. They're like, you're not going anywhere, guys. You will all die.
And I love that, but I'm hoping that they manage to break out. Like, I would love to see them just come back and just get slaughtered anyway.
Yeah.
Just because it would be like a nice little nod to the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I forget his name. I think it's the White Dragon, like the Peacemaker's racist dad.
Yeah.
Who is now just like known to me as like the overly racist Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, I did not realize his suit was going to be that intense and like that powerful, but he's like just flying in. And the fight scene between him and Peacemaker was just fun to watch when Peacemaker's running after him because he beat up his eagle.
Yeah. Yeah, he punched the head off the eagle. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, like I had a feeling that like his suit was going to be impressive just because, the way in the house he had like that little pocket dimension, whatever it was. So it's like this guy has some serious tech and he does all the designing for all the Peacemaker shit as well. So I was like, that suit is going to be able to pack a punch. It's going to be interesting. But I wasn't expecting to see him kind of flying around and stuff. I didn't think I didn't think that would happen. So I was kind of like surprised to see it, and then he was like shooting the shockwaves and shit out of his hands and his feet and all. It was impressive, dude. I wasn't expecting it at all, and I was like, oh, okay, this is superhero shit. Like, this is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I love all the characters in this one. During the fight scene with his dad, when old Diebeard is like running away and stuff.
He's like crawling away.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like James Gunn isn't worried about giving everyone like big hero moments. He lets people be scared and like be cowards, and it's like it just totally works. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I love that Vigilante's taking the piss and like his bare ass is out. He's like, why are your pants all the way down? He's like, I can't piss. There's something touching my ass.
How about the cow at the very end, man? How about that?
That was so fucking... Jeez. That was twisted, bro. Like, me and my girlfriend looked at each other and she was like, that's just really twisted, like, really weird stuff. And I was like, it's James Gunn. That's James Gunn. Yeah. That's James Gunn for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes it look very alien-like, which fits well. But it's just weird. Like, you see the process of it going on. Ugh.
Oh my god, I don't know if you're reading chat, Alex. There's a comment there for you in the chat.
Long lost brothers. Long lost brothers were chubby guys. Da, da.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Nice to meet you.
I love Peacemaker, man. I really just I love that there is a show out there that shows that you can have fun and you can have serious moments, and you don't have to cut those serious moments with humor. It's like you can just move on from them. And I wish James Gunn could do more. I wish there were more James Gunns in the world. Not necessarily for his like weird takes on stuff, but just for his understanding of how scripts work and stuff. Like I love this show from front and back. It's just great, man. Like I can't wait to rewatch it and binge it again. After everything comes out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is definitely one that'll have rewatch binge quality. Like, and I think no matter what happens, I think they'd be silly not to do a season 2. They can expand on it. They can bring in some more people. They could bring in another member of the Suicide Squad because technically he still has the bomb in his head. He's still a member of the Suicide Squad. So you could easily bring in somebody, or even go back in time to how he. I'd like to see how he got locked up, like what he did to get into prison and all that sort of stuff, and how he became, how he got into the Suicide Squad and stuff like that. I think that'd be like really interesting.
I agree. And you know, there's a lot of history with Amanda Waller, that character and her daughter being in it. Like, I feel like there's a lot more that can be done with her because she's such an interesting character, but we don't get to have a lot of her in the movies, right? Because they got to tell the main movie story. So I would love James Gunn to kind of mess around with her character a little more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think that like all the like any even tertiary characters have all shown that they can just shine on the scene at any given moment. And I love that. I love that none of the characters are like wasted. None of them are overused. It's perfectly set and it's done right. And I can't wait to see how it ends.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
For sure.
It's so weird not to have something to like so much to talk about with the show because they're just getting everything right. And I'm just like, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Love every minute. Yeah, there's nothing to complain about. There's no critiques. It's all just they're hitting it. They're hitting every fucking note perfectly. Like it's great. I know James Gunn has another project coming and another DC villain project as he calls it. I wonder, will it link into this show or is it going to be something just completely different? Like, it'll be interesting. Like, I don't know. Are they building like a TV universe now as well? Like, I don't know what DC are doing. You know, they've got Batgirl TV show. They've got this. Is all this going to be linked together? Who the fuck knows? I wouldn't be surprised if after the events of this Flash movie, we just have like one new universe and it's all connected. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
I don't think any of it's gonna be connected. I think that that's what they want.
I think they want. Yeah, they shouldn't connect it, but I think they will. I think they will though, because I think they the whole unified like universe, like multiverse or cinematic universe. That's what's making all the money. Like, and you can see Star Wars are trying to do it now, and Marvel are killing at it as always. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. And even like the DC like CW stuff, like where they have their own like they call it the Arrowverse. Like that's been going for a while, but you know that wasn't great. Like, it started off amazing, and that's what kind of started off a lot of this stuff. But it's just DC can't seem to do it right. And I hope they don't ruin something like this TV show and potentially more work from James Gunn. I hope they don't ruin all of that to try and connect it together for the fucking sake of it. Like, you know, let it be different. Let it be its own thing. The Batman's going to be its own thing, and it's going to be great. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be part of the DC extended universe. Like, it does not need to be. You know, keep it separate. DC's always performed best when it's been separate.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. I do like the references though to show that those characters actually still exist. Yeah. Like, it's not just a completely separate entity that's not part of the universe itself. It's just references showing you, they're around, but we don't care about them right now. We care about Peacemaker.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there is no DC world that there's no Superman and there's no Batman. Like, you know, they're everywhere. Like,
wait till we see the Flash.
Well, we're gonna have two Batmen in that movie. Like, you know what I mean? They're Batman everywhere, and like Keaton is apparently going to be coming into the main timeline, and he will be the main Batman, kind of teaching Batgirl, and potentially Nightwing movie coming very soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if he mentors him as well. Like, and even Batman Beyond or something. I don't know. Like, they have plans. They have big plans. They've got plans with Keaton.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I don't know where it's gonna go, but we'll see.
Did you hear Keaton's back?
Did you hear about Russell Crowe getting cast in the Craven movie?
Yeah. I can't wait for him to play Craven's mentor and get killed off at some point. That's what he's gonna do in the Thor movie. He's gonna do that in the Craven movie. Like, he's just an elderly mentor character now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think, is there any news that we missed? I'm just having a look here while we're on DC, I suppose.
I want to see a picture of Russell Crowe nowadays, because the last time I seen photos of him, he's really been enjoying life.
Yeah, he's just chunky, dude. He's chunky.
Yeah. So I wonder if he's like kind of got. I haven't seen him in months, you know. So I wonder if he like slimmed down, got a little bit of tone going on, more of a dad bod instead of his
I'd say at the moment he's on the Marvel diet, so I'd say he'll be fine.
I just think he's on that like Jack Nicholson vibe where it's like he's drinking tequila all the time and eating hoagies. Like, whatever. I'm enjoying it now.
I respect it, dude. I respect it.
I love happy Jack Nicholson. Like, he just looks so good.
Did it all. Enjoy yourself. Stop trying to stay in shape.
Yeah, fuck that. You put in the time. I love the one of the guys from one of the DC shows, Dominic Purcell's his name. He was in like Prison Break, and he played Dracula in Blade 3 and stuff. But he's in one of the DC shows now, and someone like was like fat shaming him during like his off season, and he was like put up a picture where he had like a bit of a belly on him, and you know he's just enjoying life. He's not working. He's drinking during the day. He's eating burgers and all this stuff. Like, and he's like, he just like writes back to this dude like, "Fuck you, bro." He's like, "If you want me to have a 6-pack, fucking pay me and I'll get you a 6-pack." Like, you know, he's like, "It's my off season, bro." He's like, "I'm gonna drink beer and eat burgers. Like, I don't give a fuck." He's like, "I'll get back to the gym when they're paying me." Could you imagine that life? Imagine that life.
Same.
Yeah. Imagine that life. Like Chris Hemsworth. Like, it's like he's getting training up. And it's like, you know, Marvel are paying him and giving him like nutritionists and trainers and all this shit, and it's just like, yep, go train for 6 months, get ready for your Thor movie, like, and he's literally getting paid millions to just train to be a beast and act in a movie. Yeah, that is the fucking dream, dude. That is the dream.
You think it's like a bonus the more he cuts?
Imagine, yeah. It's like if your arms can get like fucking 10 centimeters thicker, we'll give you another mil. So like, you know, like, have you seen how big his arms are for this movie? Like, I think that was a clause.
If you can make it to where you're trying to raise your weapon and it looks really difficult to do so, we'll pay you more. Yeah.
He looks terrifying, like at how big he is right now. Like those set photos, like he looks the biggest he's ever looked ever. Like he looks like he's absolutely injecting steroids right into his ass. Like he just looks absolutely juiced out of his mind, bro. He really does. And fuck it, I respect it. Like, you know, like Jackman was definitely roared it out of his mind for the last like 5 years of being Logan. Like, absolutely. There's no way he wasn't. Like, dude was nearly 50. He's like squatting 200 fucking pounds, like more, like, or 200 kilos. Just absolute animal. They don't test for PEDs in Hollywood. That's absolutely. Could you imagine if like the fights were like real and they had to like be clean?
No.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
So good.
That'd be so fucking funny. Guys, we're close. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say a joke. Like, he becomes so jacked that he just becomes a meathead, and he's like, "Bring me Thanos," but it's like the wrong movie.
It's like, bro, we killed him 5 years ago. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys have any other topics you want to bring up. We're getting close to 2.5 hours, so I think that's usually our kind of breaking point for the week anyway. But
I got nothing.
I have. Go ahead. I have one more thing, but if you want to save it for the next podcast, we can.
I'm sure there's going to be enough news to kind of get us through next week anyway, but go ahead, because we'll have the Peacemaker finale to talk about next week as well.
So I believe they've casted Anthony Ramos and Dominic Thorne for Ironheart. And I'm not sure if you know, but Ironheart is going to debut in Wakanda Forever.
Yes, I did hear about this, yeah. I'm interested. You know, like, they seem to have taken a break from the whole kind of Iron Man thing after Downey's death for a couple of years. I know we had the kind of Spider-Man stuff, but it didn't really feel too much like Iron Man. Whereas now they seem to be kind of ramping it up again with Ironheart and Armor Wars. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a lot of like Iron tech coming. I'm excited. I want to see where it goes from here.
Me too.
Yeah. Ironheart's gonna be interesting because I don't think Ironheart, even though like she's like a light character, I don't think she was an overly successful character. So I don't know too much about her because she didn't really have that long of a stay in terms of her issue runnings. I'm curious if they're gonna bring Robert Downey Jr. back to be her, because Tony Stark is supposed to be the like onboard AI for her suit, I believe, if I'm remembering right. So I wonder if he actually comes back to be like to voice her AI suit.
That would be.
I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I just don't know if he can get Downey back. Like, he's done.
I think he would do voice acting.
Do you think so?
Voice acting would be simple.
Yeah, I think he loves the MCU. I think he knows he's too old and it was just time to move on from the role of Iron Man. But I think you could probably get him back for certain things.
I hope we do get him to come back in the future as like a variant of Tony Stark or something like that, it would be just amazing just to see him again, like showing up during Secret Wars or something like that. And then there's like, you know, a couple of different variant versions of Iron Man as well. Like it would be amazing to see him back. Like, and like he doesn't really have to do a lot, you know. Like once he's in the suit, like he's not there. It's not him. Like the second that lid closes, it's not him. So, you know, it wouldn't be very difficult or like taxing on his body for him to reprise the role as Tony Stark. You know, he could even reprise the role as Tony Stark, but not be Iron Man. Like, you know, just wear a nice suit and the glasses and just pop on and have a chat with some people, like, you know, or even just like sit on the Illuminati board or whatever and just not have him be Iron Man. Like, you know, that it would work. And it would like, I think everyone would love to see it. Like that and Evans.
Yeah.
Evans has to come back as well. Like, I think if they do Secret Wars and it all leads to a big next like event, they have to bring back the original Avengers, you know, just to help fight whoever the fuck they're gonna be fighting, Doom or whoever.
But and also with like RDJ, we know how much he gets paid. Or like it really does come down to money with him. Like they can't afford him to come back if anything other than like an in-game style movie where they're gonna make like $2 billion off it.
No, he's what did he get? He got paid $15 million for 8 minutes of screen time on Spider-Man Homecoming.
My man knows his worth.
That's
hell yeah,
crazy,
dude. Isn't it?
I love it.
8 minutes.
What I love
8
about
minutes
it
of screen
too
time.
is that like Hollywood kind of threw him away, right? They kind of, because he went through all those troubles, they just kind of wrote him off. And so now that he's back, he's like, "Pay up, bitch! Like, pay the fuck up!" Like,
yeah.
Oh, you need me 8 minutes? 15 mil, easy.
And I think you've said before, Finto, that Tom Holland's getting there too. Like he's in the double digits now, right?
He needs to be. And I think that's the reason why you're probably, I don't know if you follow like when they do press tours and stuff. I kind of like watching interviews with like actors when they're kind of doing a press tour, and he's doing all the work for Uncharted now, which is coming out next week. And actually it's out tomorrow, I think. I think it might be out today in the UK in Ireland, but I'm not going to get a chance to see it till next week. But he's been being asked a lot about Spider-Man, and he's kind of consistently saying that he doesn't know if he's going to return or not, and that is definitely just to make Marvel sweat and pay him more money. But the fact that he has to do that is shocking to me, because he is holding up the MCU at the moment. Like, they've pretty much made a $2 billion movie during a pandemic. Like, it's unheard of. You know what I mean? That movie would have been easily past 2 billion worldwide without the Omicron variant out there, like scaring people and not even scare people, just making so many more people got sick from that variant because it was much easily spreaded and not as severe, which is why it didn't really make the news as much. But like, if that wasn't around, if we had no COVID and that movie came out, like, I think that movie is on par with Endgame money wise, if not maybe even more. I think it could have done more. Like, it's insane how much that movie would have done. But how that dude is not getting a minimum of 20 million per movie now is beyond me. Like 20 million is nothing to these guys. It's nothing. And like, you know, I think Downey, did he get like something like 50 mil for Infinity War and like another 60 for Endgame or something like that? Woo! I think his just his salary, like before, like just basic salary. Like, obviously they would make more money for like I always think it's crazy to think that, you know, anytime you see an actor sit down in front of a camera, he's being paid to be there. Like, you know, like there's not one bit of footage or a bit of audio or anything that you're going to hear from a famous person. They're getting paid to do it. So anytime you see like Tom Holland sitting down talking to anybody, there's money involved. So like, you got to think like Robert Downey Jr. from those two movies made $110 million before he did any sort of like promo or interviews or anything for any of it. Like, so it's insane, dude, insane. And fair play to him, he fucking deserves every cent of it. And I think it's robbery that Tom is still on. I think he got paid something like $1 million for Homecoming, or maybe I can't remember what it was. I think he only got like something like 3 million for the new movie, and the dude who plays Ned got like $600,000. Like, he didn't even make $1 million, and he was like one of the main characters in the fucking film. Like,
I mean, like him not getting paid for Homecoming makes sense because he was like unknown, right?
First
like,
movie, first movie.
Get you, but like he's the face of the MCU right now.
Yeah.
Like there's no bigger star in the MCU, bigger than him. Maybe Chris Hemsworth is Thor, but even then, his movies make more money than Thor. So
yeah,
like he's the face of it.
I'm very, very curious to see how this new Thor movie does in the summer blockbuster, the return of Thor. Like, I can't remember who did it. I think it was like Empire magazine or something put out like, what's your most anticipated movie of 2022? Thor 1. Like, so there's a lot of people really looking forward to it, and I haven't really, it hasn't been in my head too much lately, like, as of yet, because there's just a lot of stuff ahead of it. But like, once we kind of finish up Doctor Strange 2 and Obi-Wan and Moon Knight and stuff like that, I'm just going to be like full blown, it's going to be all Thor, Love and Thunder. Like, I really can't wait. Really can't wait.
Man, we got like a month until Moon Knight.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, I can't wait though.
2 months. Bro, I just feel like the MCU's been like so dead right now.
Yeah, Downey got 500k for the first Iron Man, and Terrence Howard got 10 million. And that's why Terrence Howard didn't come back for the second one. Because he wanted more money, and they were like, well, we got to pay Downey, and we're not going to pay him 15 million for a second movie.
If I was during that meeting, I would have been like, dude, you were only here for like, 10 minutes at the most, and it was broken up. Like, we need Downey. Like, that's our main character. Like, what are you talking about? You need more money.
I know, dude. It was insane. But, like, Terrence Howard at the time was, like, I think he had a massive, like, portfolio of movies or whatever you want to call it, like, filmography. Like, he was a big actor at the time. Like, he was the biggest thing in the movie at the time. Like, so. But yeah, 10 million is crazy.
But that's where greed gets you, is like, you don't get to be on the team anymore.
Yep. Short-sighted. He would have made way more money in the end,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we probably would have gotten if Terrence Howard would have stayed on the role, we probably would have gotten a War Machine movie by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think that's obviously what
that's what Armor Wars is going to be, but obviously, we would have got it a lot sooner. Yeah, I think, like, well, if you think about it, like, Tom Holland has done a lot for the MCU already. He was in Civil War, then he had his first movie, then he was in Infinity War, Endgame, his second movie, his third movie. So, like, he's done, like, 6 projects with Marvel already, and now he's signed on for 5 more. So, I think he should be making a lot more money than he's making right now. He's a pivotal part of Infinity War and Endgame, like, you know what I mean? Maybe not Endgame, but definitely Infinity War.
But I think part of it has to do with his age. I just don't think that they look at him and they're like, yeah, you deserve this much money because, you're of age. I really do think that they look at it in an age perspective. Like, you're a kid. Like, you still look like a kid to us. Yeah. Like, so we're not going to give you money because you don't look like that seasoned veteran kind of actor that we're waiting for. That's
shocking, though, as well. Like, if you think about it, like, because, like, there's kid actors out there, that are on TV and stuff probably making more money than him. There's a fucking kid. Yeah. There's a kid on YouTube who reviews toys, and he made like $26 million last year just from fucking reviewing toys on YouTube. Like, and Tom Holland can't get money for being Spider-Man and holding up a fucking movie franchise and making a $2 billion movie.
I mean, YouTube is a whole different monster.
I know. I'm just making the point that there's like a 7 or 8 year old kid reviewing toys, making fucking absolute bank. Like, and they can't. Like, Marvel but Disney aren't paying their main star right now.
I mean, obviously he's probably just, he's under a contract negotiations. He probably had a contract for the first couple movies. He didn't get paid. So he's going to make big. Now, there's no way he doesn't. There's no way he doesn't come back and he's not making, $30 million a movie easily. Like, he's about to cash in. Because even Far From Home, which wasn't, the best of movies, right? It still made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still made over like $1 billion. He's a draw.
I can't wait to see how Uncharted does. I'm curious, because I know he has said in interviews like that he wasn't overly happy with his performance in it, which is kind of
same.
Yeah, making me think that like maybe he even knows that it might not be amazing, but I think it's still, even if it's shit, right? Which I don't think it'll be shit, but I don't think it's going to be amazing. But it's still going to be a box office smash.
It's just a weird design.
You think it's going to be a flop?
It's going to be a flop too.
Really?
Yep.
Oh shit.
I'll still watch it, but you
don't think it'll do well in the box office? No?
500 million. I think that Tom Holland, I don't know if he is a big movie star in the way we think of big movie stars. I don't think people show up to see movie stars. It's Anthony Mackie line. We don't show up to see movie stars. We show up to see characters. Tom Holland is huge in the Spider-Man role, but how big is Tom Holland's draw going to be when he's not playing Spider-Man?
This is what I'm curious about. This is what I'm curious about as well. Yep. Yeah, I really want to see. And this will really tell the star power of him. Is he going to be the next big thing? Like, because this movie will tell.
And I would bet you money that he's been trying to lock in this contract before Uncharted comes out, and Disney's like, let's wait and see. Let's wait until the Uncharted box office comes out, and then we'll decide how much we pay you.
Yep, I agree with that wholeheartedly because it just feels right now. It just feels really awkward with what they're advertising for the show. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing it postered everywhere. I'm not seeing like so many people being hyped for it. I'm not seeing even the actors like giving Uncharted? Shout outs or showing hype. Yeah,
I'm seeing it now. Maybe it's because I'm a big Uncharted fan, but I'm seeing like a lot of stuff, like a lot of promo for. Every time I open up TikTok, Mark Wahlberg's like, "Yo, Ireland, what's up? Like, come and see fucking our movie." Like, seriously, like that. Every time I open up fucking TikTok, that's what I see. So,
are you following Mark Wahlberg?
No, I'm not. Not on that. Like, but maybe on different.
You're a
apps.
Wahlburglar.
I've been to his burger place, but wasn't great at all. Wouldn't go again.
Bad people, bad burgers. That's what I like to say about the fucking Wahlburgers.
I follow Mark on PH.
The thing is PH. Pornhub?
Yeah.
The hell is PH, Flood?
Winky face.
Jesus.
Guys, thank you for hanging out tonight. That was an absolutely fantastic episode of the podcast. Flood, thank you again. Flood's in the chat here. I appreciate you being here. I hope do we have permission to use your likeness for a thumbnail, Flood, while you're here? Because I wouldn't mind putting your face on a thumbnail for this week's episode. Go nuts. Yeah, excellent.
I wouldn't mind putting his face on my wall too. A nice little poster at night.
Fucking right. Absolutely. Guys, appreciate it. We'll see you next week for the Peacemaker finale, and keep an ear out for any other news that we can kind of talk about next week.
Later, everyone.
It's been a great one.
Have a good one.
Later, guys. Bye.
Later.